I've got 6:03. What are you guys thinking? Is everybody home? Is everybody here?
I'm looking at to see who's in the room. I think we definitely have a quorum. Let's see, Dr. Bullock is on. Austin's on. Commissioner Rice from Unicoi County. Several of our commissioners, Commissioner Grindstaff, Commissioner Travis Hill.
Is Sonja filling in for Ray tonight?
I sent her the agenda, but she didn't respond to me telling me that she would attend. So she may not. I know everybody's time is precious. Is the mayor on? I know that he and I just came from an event. Yeah, there he is.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay.
Jim, and I think Sonja Culler's here. I'm seeing her name.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, great. Are
Hi,
you sitting
Sonja.
in? Will you sit in tonight for your vacant seat?
Oh, well, I didn't think about it, but I guess I can. You'll let me. I didn't even think about it. He wasn't there.
Well, we'll seat you at the table as soon as we call the meeting to order. I've got a few changes in the agenda, if that's okay.
Are you going to go first?
Well, I'd like to, because we have a guest, several guests that are on specifically for broadband, but the mayor also asked me to add the president of Northeast State Community College, and Dr. Bullock is with us tonight. So I want to be sensitive to her time and others that have joined us for that. So if there's no objection from the other chairs, I would like to go ahead and get our agenda out of the way. Just for the record, since this is being recorded, we are all located in different places for the reason of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are doing this meeting as under those orders and under the advice of our attorney, Josh Harden, that all meetings should be conducted in such a manner. So with that said, let me call us to order. And Gwen, I saw your name. You want to call the roll for us, please?
Randall Jenkins.
Here.
Mike Hill.
Here.
Robert Acuff.
Here.
Brad Johnson.
Here.
Austin James.
Here.
Ginger Holdren.
Here.
Ray Lyons. Robin McCamey.
I know Robin's on. Okay, there you are.
I'm here, sorry.
Okay.
Someone sitting in for Mr. Lyons?
Yes, we'll need to, I'll need a motion to ask or to give permission for Commissioner Culler to sit in for District 7.
Make a motion.
Is there a second? There is a second by Commissioner Holdren. Original motion by Commissioner Mike Hill. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed, same. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Culler. Please be a part
Well,
of
I'm here
our
then.
group tonight.
Thank you.
Before we approve the agenda, I would like to change or put one thing in front of the broadband internet discussion, which is number 5. The mayor called me earlier today and asked if we could have Dr. Bullock, formerly known as Dr. Flora, belated congratulations, Dr. Bullock. But just so that you know that Northeast State has not changed presidents. It is the same person. She is now married. So we welcome her to the meeting tonight. And Mayor, if that's okay with you, we'll put her first. So after public comment, which will put her in the 5th position. So I think everybody has been distributed the agenda. So if you will, if I can have a motion to approve the agenda, unless there are any other additions.
Motion to approve is amended.
Okay, Commissioner Hill makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Jenkins is the second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed, same. Okay. Public comment. I know that there's a few folks on the line from the public. Is there any individual from the public that would like to speak at this time for health and welfare? Okay, hearing none, we'll close to public comment. And Mayor, I'll let you handle the introduction for Dr. Bullock and the opportunity to have her with us tonight, and we welcome her. Thank you, Dr. Bullock, for joining us.
Yes, we want to welcome you. I didn't know what your new name was. I still call her Dr. Flora, but I was just getting ready to call her today, and it's funny. I was getting ready to call her, and the phone rang. It was her, so we had a good discussion. But we've been talking. We've been talking several times, and I want her to come and tell you guys exactly what's going on and what how the school's going to be set up. What's going on there, and plus what they expect from us. That's a big thing there. So I'll kind of keep it short and just let her start talking. And if we have any questions, we'll talk. But we do want to let her tell about the school, and then we do want to discuss what the future looks for Northeast State at our facility. So, Dr. Bullock, it's just all yours.
Thank you, Mayor and Chairman Acuff. Thanks for the last minute add to the agenda. I appreciate everything you all are doing. I'll brief you very quickly on the status of the college. We feel very blessed that we have 2 employees and 1 student only who have been diagnosed as COVID positive. Those employees and those student is recovering, and we are putting processes in place right now today on the phone. I'm pretty much on Zoom all day talking about the way we will limit access to campus on the Bluntville campus, and then Mayor Barnett and I discussed the Elizabethton campus and how we plan to screen every student, faculty, staff member, and visitor daily for entering any campuses that Northeast State owns or leases. We've been doing this screening process all summer long. It's been effective. It's those 5 questions that you all see. So it's an online site that an individual can go to, submit their answers to the questions. They indicate which campus they're visiting, and Elizabethton is nationally one of our campus locations. And then they answer those questions. So for the purpose of contact tracing for fall, we feel prepared with that technology. We will be amping up and ramping up our security staff to be able to facilitate this type of screening. It will either be security or student workers or other employees who will be at those checkpoints. Our enrollment for all the community colleges across the state of Tennessee, there are 13 of us. We are down, but we are at the top down. So we are the lowest across the state of Tennessee. We're down about, I don't mind to share today, it changes. If you've heard ETSU's president talk, these enrollment numbers, you can't really bank on them right now. We're still waiting on a lot of information to come in, but we're down today about 5%. That's phenomenal compared to some of our colleagues who are down 30 and 40%. So we feel strong about our program portfolio. Really is what that's a testament to, is that we are in the right locations and we're delivering the right programs, and we're meeting a tremendous need for the economy at this point in time. We're running at about 30% of our on-ground classes will be continuing this fall. The way we did this, we surveyed all of our faculty to find out their teaching preferences. We did not want to assume every faculty member had the preference to come back in person. So we first surveyed the faculty. We crosswalked the faculty preference modality with the student registration modality to match faculty to the courses. And then we have reassessed every asset as far as our campus labs, classrooms, bathrooms, and break rooms to have new maximum occupancies. So every space in the Elizabethton site has a new maximum occupancy that will be posted on the exterior of that classroom as you're entering, so that you know how many new people, according to COVID, can fit in that space. So about 30% of our classes will be on the ground. entering this fall, and we are starting classes a week early and will be completely finished by November 24th. That could also have moved the needle forward for us with enrollment. A lot of students had concerns about going online during exam week, or even just getting into those later months in November and December when the cold and flu season starts. And so we are very proud to be able to complete all the classes, all of the learning outcomes by November 24th, by Thanksgiving. We've been in discussions, Mayor Barnett and many of you on this call have been in discussions about Northeast State and the facility that we have leased and been a partner with you all for, I believe, 25 years. And today we have confirmed with the mayor, we have renewed that lease for the next year. We've paid the lease, so it's paid through July 2021. We are so pleased about the parking lot. Thank you. That was the #1 student expressed need for the site, was the parking lot. So we really appreciate the parking lot being paved. And you know, the conversation that we need to have is how much we want to talk about industry relationships in the future. Do we want to talk about an opportunity for us as the college to take over ownership of this facility so that we can begin to do capital improvements? What types of new programs are you interested in? Partnering with TCAT Elizabethton is a natural relationship for us as the college. They're part of our they're a sister institution for Northeast State. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to think about the future. With COVID, we're like everyone else. We were slowed down a bit with these types of discussions and this type of planning. The mayor and I had planned an industry roundtable with TCAT Elizabethton there at the facility so that we could bring industry partners in and ask them what their needs are, as well as our K-12 partners. And so I guess what I would offer up are 3 different things. One is we're there in the facility through July 2021, plan to be there until we you know, cannot be there. I know, and you all know, that that facility does not represent the type of state-of-the-art technology learning environment that I grew up around here. I want us to present something that's what we would all want our kids attending. And so I believe there's an opportunity for us to work together to do some improvements and enhancement to that facility. So it is a state-of-the-art facility. So those conversations need to happen. And whether or not there's a consideration from this group about a transfer of property to the college. And, you know, certainly if this group wants to go down those avenues of conversation, then I would take that to Nashville and we would begin working along those lines. We've talked, the mayor and I've talked, and you know, I'm going too long here, Rusty, but about we would be willing to work with the parking and the access. We know there are a lot of nuances with the way these 2 facilities are so closely linked, and so we would need to work through all of that. But Chairman Acuff, I appreciate the opportunity to share and be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, and I'll open it up to the committee first. Are there questions that Dr. Bullock can answer? Hearing none, I'll open it up to other commissioners that I know are on the line, or to some of our folks in the Carter County school system that might want to ask a question about the presence of Northeast, the continuing presence, the opportunity to partner for long-term with them for dual enrollment programs, et cetera. Any questions for Dr. Bullock?
I will add, Mr. Acuff from Carter County Schools, you know, we would be excited to continue the partnership with Northeast State that we have as far as dual enrollment and even growing opportunities for our students as we go forward.
Great. Thank you, Danny. Important point.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
As we, like I say, you guys, it's no surprise, we've been discussing this. And one of the problems is the, you know, the rent is pretty steep on this. The lease, you know, it's pretty pricey. And Dr. Flora, I mean, Dr. Bullock and I, we've discussed several things, and you know, I feel like we need to help them out on that lease either help them out on the lease, or, I feel like maybe, we can't give them the whole facility, but if we could just give them that one building or do something on the lease, we need to do something to show good faith and partnership. So that's my opinion. And, I'd like to open that up for discussion, what other commissioners feel or whatever you guys feel. So, because she's here to answer questions. And
Chairman, if I might,
Absolutely.
I'd like to express my support for the mayor's proposal that we seriously take a look at a potential donation of a portion of that facility that the college is occupying, because as we've understood it in various encounters with Dr. Bullock, it opens up the opportunity, I believe, for a lot more support from the Board of Regents and the state level to bring the facility up to the state-of-the-art level that Ms. Bullock was just describing there.
Other comments or questions? I definitely think and would agree with what has been laid forth, that we need to work very diligently over this period of time to see how best we can support our educational partners, particularly in this case, Northeast State Community College, in maintaining their presence for not only Carter County, but I would imagine Johnson County as well, and potentially some movement from Unicoi County, I would think. I do know, and I've made this statement several times in talking with a number of the Carter County school principals, especially on Stony Creek, that loss of this particular educational opportunity in Northeast State would do detrimental harm to not only dual programs, but the potential going forward. And I know we've had this discussion with Dr. Bullock before about looking at what sorts of other programs that they would offer. And I think that is an opportunity that we should take advantage of. So it's going to be, going forward, an exciting time to be in partnership with them.
Chairman, one more follow-up for Dr. Bullock.
Yes, go ahead.
I mean, ma'am, do you have any idea if you owned the property, hypothetically, of course, what might you be able to put in there with the enhanced support from the state level and the Board of Regents if the shackles were taken off and it wasn't a leasehold anymore? Because as I understood it from several conversations, the fact that it is a leasehold, you're only able to do certain amounts of things there, and you might be able to do more if it was a situation where the organization owned the facility, such as Blounteville, as opposed to the leasehold property relationship that you have with us. Can you give us some ideas of, I mean, what might we expect Northeast State to expand into there if they were given a real opportunity to do so?
It's a great question, Mike. I think what we would want to do is that industry roundtable first. I feel like it would be remiss for me to say these are the 5 programs we bring in and these are the 3 industry partners. But you do get a sense, if you've been into the Regional Center for Advanced Manufacturing in Kingsport or our new technical education complex on the Blounteville campus, there's some opportunities between what Dean is doing at TCAT Elizabeth. Then he's got some overfill, I understand. He's got some space needs, and so there's some opportunities for us to partner with the TCAT partners, as well as some of the 4-year institutional partners, Mike. So we could probably do some pretty creative, innovative things with the partners, the institutional partners who are in this region. You know, I hear things about hospitality, tourism, and management. Again, I'd want to survey the communities to make sure that the right programs are the right programs going in there. But assuming that there are partnerships that work well, we would develop some new opportunities for students in the region. I don't feel like, I've never felt like it's a good use of resources to duplicate what others are doing well. So we need to find new opportunities. Short-term training, that's what community colleges are very good at doing. Transfer education, it's what we're very good at doing. And community education, that 70-year-old who wants to take a class or two, they may not want a full program. That's what we're really good at doing as a community college. And of course, Tennessee Promise with the 2 years of free college brings some good resources to bear. So I've given you the administrative non-speak by not necessarily answering your question. I recognize that, but I want to make sure. I was in business. I used to get really frustrated when educational entities told us what we needed. We need to listen to what Carter County, Johnson County, and Unicoin County needs. I don't want to tell you what you need. I want to listen to what you need and then deliver it. So is that okay? I'm completely honest here, but that's sort of where I land.
I'll take it. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions, comments? See no hands raised or no one jumping to unmute their microphone. So President Bullock, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We welcome you to stay as we talk about broadband internet, which is a source for not only economic development, but as you know, for post-secondary education as well as K through 12, and an opportunity for attracting entrepreneurs that are looking to come to rural regions with city flight, if you will, to start businesses or to work from home. And that's something that we have been exploring over the last month or so. And hopefully as we go forward working with a number of entities, we'll have a product. It won't be tomorrow, as you know, but in the near future that we can expand our broadband internet services in at least Carter County. So thank you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I may listen in because many of our students are in Johnson, Unicoi, and Carter County. When we pivoted to online, we were handing out laptops on a loaner program and also had several students who expressed concern about internet high-speed access. So if you don't mind, I would love to just listen in and then I might sign off. But thank you so much, Mayor
Please.
and Dr. Acuff.
Yeah, please join us.
Chairman, one more question.
Okay.
Dr. Bullock, do you have data on percentages and where they are located of the folks that have insufficient broadband to carry on their studies there?
Yes, Mike. We have survey data that I can present. I can present that to you all. I'm pretty sure we collected the county when we assessed the students. We pivoted to online and immediately launched a survey to understand their access levels. And we had some dollars in the foundation, and one of the most commonly requested sources of funding was to have internet access for the students. So I can get you those data. The best way to get that would be to send that to you, Dr. Acuff, those numbers?
Yes, that would be great, and I'll be happy to distribute it to the committee and to commission, because we've got a number of other commissioners on the line that have a strong interest in this particular arena.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, our next item is broadband internet and the discussion thereof. Commissioner Hill, since you kind of ramrodded and headed up our call meeting on July the 24th, I'll let you take the lead, if you will, sir, on kind of giving us a synopsis or a summary of what we did there and walking away with some of the talking points. I distributed talking points as part of the agenda in the email, so I hope everybody saw those. If you didn't, I know that Abby might be able, I'm not putting you on the spot, Abby, you might be able to put them up on the screen or share your screen with me in a moment, or with Mike, to see if we can pull those up. So Commissioner Hill, you want to?
Just to touch on that real quick before Mike gets started, I didn't have those documents open when the meeting started, so with the program, I can't screen share them, but I would be more than happy to hand the screen off to somebody else.
Okay. Let me see if I've got those where I can do that. Mike, do you have them before you, or did you not?
I have them in my left hand, and I'm trying to see if I can get them out of the email where I sent them over to, but it's a PDF file. Did everybody get a copy of it? I took my really rich commissioner stipend for the month and invested it in SurveyMonkey for a 30-day unlimited subscription, so we could try to get a jump on collecting some of this information that the guys from Skyline Skybest said we needed to have in hand. I did send this morning over, I think we got 9 whole new respondents overnight. 384 to, and so out of that relatively small sample, you know, most of the folks are completing the survey because their access at home is terrible. It was almost 50-50 for a work from home business conduct work from this location, and the largest connectivity is either DSL or cable, not that big a surprise. And there is a small bump at satellite only and mobile and satellite only. This survey I modeled after one that was launched in Watauga County, North Carolina, where they successfully were awarded grant funds to do a broadband build out. Overwhelmingly, about 70% of the respondents say that they do not have sufficient speed with their internet service. So if you check your emails, I think this was distributed to the whole commission. As far as walk away talking points from our special conference call with Edward and Brent from Skyline Skybest, you know, they gave us a lot of good information, and the biggest thing is that, you know, we're going to have to find funding because this costs $35,000 to $75,000 a mile to deploy genuine fiber optic cable. The immediate things that I'd like to see us make a decision to move forward on would be additional survey collecting. I'm hoping we can get some information from the school system because they actually have done a similar survey. I think that probably reaches a lot of the folks that have zero connectivity, which obviously wouldn't have been likely candidates to fill out a SurveyMonkey. So that would help us identify the pockets of absolute nothing. And they exist, especially in my district. 50% of the school-age households don't have a sufficient internet connection to even do the Google Classroom. The other piece that I didn't put in this, the notes for after action that I sent around was the guys from Skybest mentioned that if existing assets were built properly, that existing assets can be tied on to or adapted for a project. And 2 that I have been made aware of, and I haven't been able to get a hold of anyone to nail this down for sure, but Mountain Electric has run fiber cables to run smart meters to residential households. I don't know how robust that is. And from what I understand, the school system has Cat5, I think Cat5 cable to every school facility. So that theoretically gets us at least a drag line into all of the most remote areas, or at least a good starter point. The questions that we need to answer is, can we get them to cooperate with a service provider that would come in and tie onto that? Can we fund it? And you can read this stuff for yourselves, really. But those are the high points of the meeting. The best thing that came out of 2 Fridays ago was that those guys didn't say no, and they were pretty matter of fact about how difficult it probably would be, and also how likely. And they already touch a few areas around here, but so that's all I've got, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. for those of you that are on the call that didn't get that information, if you will send me, or you can put your email in the chat mode down there at the bottom of your screen, and I'll be happy to send that to you. Make sure I have a name and an email address, and I'll get those out to you so you can look at not only the survey data, but also the notes for action that was distributed with the agenda, as well as some other items. Commissioner Rice from Unicoi County also sent me some tower and broad or internet data. I don't want to put you on the spot, Marie, but you want to speak to the data that you sent to us? I haven't distributed it yet.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. You're coming in loud and clear.
Okay, I appreciate that. I just wanted to share some information. I've been researching this problem. We have it in Unicoi County, any of the rural areas, you know, it's going to experience this kind of problems. And I heard Commissioner Hill talking about doing a survey, and I know a couple of years ago there was an ARC grant. They did it in the Virginia Coalfields Coalition for just a survey and to come in and assess that area for the, you know, broadband and internet service for the underserved in that community. And this is something I think that we need to work on as a group, as a partnership, because you all have it. We've got people just right inside Unicoi County from Carter County experiencing the same problems. So I appreciate any information that we can share.
Thank you, Marie. Appreciate you being here tonight and sharing that information. And I will get that out to everyone on the list, because I think some of the things that she put in, well, all of the things that she put in her message to me are cogent for us moving forward with broadband. Also some opportunities for grants, and I'm glad to see that Ken Ray from First Tennessee Development District is on with us as well. He also sent out some data today. Ken, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. You want to talk a little bit about the survey data that you sent out, and you indicated to me that you had some hesitancy about how valid some of that data is.
Yeah, the information that I sent out was from the state broadband maps, and we all know that it underreports the number of people without broadband, but those maps show the areas that don't have 10.1 service, and the second map shows the area with less than 25.3 service. So it's a starting point, and it may help you, narrow which areas are best to focus on. But I think there's a lot of area that's shown as covered that's probably not covered also.
Okay. I think I sent those out, but if you didn't receive them, just let me know and I'll make sure that I resend everything. In fact, I'll make sure that everybody has the attachments and everything from the meeting, both from Marie and Ken, in a follow-up email, so you can be looking at it. So everybody on the call will get it. Thanks,
Mr. Chair.
Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Isaiah Grindstaff. I just wanted to add a note. I think that Commissioner Hill was speaking about the internet for the schools, about how that reaches into some of these pockets. From prior to where I worked there for a little while, I can tell you that just about every school location has fiber ran to those buildings. So you have a fiber backbone in place now. Whether the overarching provider would allow access into those, that's something that would have to be discovered. But you do have that backbone that extends out. So that could be something to our benefit later on to remember. Of course, Commissioner Bailey could answer a lot more questions about that. But I thought that was something important to note.
Thank you. That is important to note.
Chairman?
Yes.
Mike Hill again. I have reached out to some potential partners, and the school system obviously would be one of them. Ms. Miller is on the line tonight, wondering, what we're doing about this thing. But I reached out to inquire if this would be a grant writing opportunity that she would maybe be interested in taking the fiscal challenge on, if we could get the school system to kind of tag team with us on this thing. And Mr. McLean is on here somewhere too, I think, for similar reason. I also reached out to the new director of the Chamber of Commerce, Ms. McCrae. She was on our conference call the other morning, and she said that, and I confirmed with her again briefly yesterday when the NetRep grant checks were being handed out up in Roan Mountain. They are willing, if we need to, and this was presented as an unusual model, but one that has been investigated or whatever. But if we were to need a fiscal agent, they would be willing to step in and serve and partner also, and help us to try to distribute some survey gathering type stuff as well. Just in a little bit of preliminary team building. We do have positive responses from just about everybody.
Right. Yeah. I think all of this information is good. I think we probably need a smaller subset of individuals to probably take it and move it along. And I think Commissioner Rice is exactly right. I would love to see us partner with Unicoi County as well, because they're experiencing the same difficulties and issues that we are. The only one that we don't have on here is a representative from the Elizabethton City Schools. And I do know that we have a number of parents who've elected to send their kids from outlying county regions to Elizabethton City Schools, and I would imagine that they will be experiencing the same shortcoming for internet services when they return to their county homes. So that's something else to keep in mind as we move forward. So let me just put it this way. I don't want to belabor the point. If there's further discussion, we can entertain it. But what is the wish of the committee moving forward? Do we have some ideas of how we want to go forward with this? And remember, I think Ken Ray reminded us that we've got, or Commissioner Mike Hill reminded us that we've got a deadline of October 8th, I believe it is, if we're going to make some of the current grant deadlines that are out there. Any thoughts, please?
Chairman, the way I see it, we really need to hammer down on the data collection, identify those pockets that are incorrectly advertised or advertised. You can tell where my mind's been today. By the government maps, and as the gentleman 2 weeks ago told us, if DSL touches the lower part of one of the hollows, it doesn't necessarily mean that all the residents have access to it. In fact, a lot of them don't. But in the government's mind, that is a connected area. So the survey is how you you identify the areas of the greatest need, and you also, we'd be collecting it for anybody that would be a potential provider, service providing partner. It's how you give them some idea of the number of potential customers that would help them, recoup their investment in a broadband project. And I think the numbers are many. There were a few people that said they wouldn't be interested in purchasing another source of internet, but they were few and far between. And the sweet spot as far as what would you pay per month, I didn't mention that, but it appears to be between $40 and $50, which falls right into the pricing of some of the plans from the guys. And we didn't get into all of that. We didn't drill in there as far as what their service packages were. But that's how we identify and attract a potential suitor is to give them information that would give them some assurances that there are ready, willing, and able customers that would, just sign up immediately. And what they would be proposing to bring in with fiber cable would be like hundreds of times faster than the next competing service level at roughly the same price or lower price per month. So I think we have a customer base. We just need to get them to fill out these surveys and get that together. And we also need to work on how would we fund the dollar match requirements and that kind of thing. Mr. Von Cannon sits on the ARC. I think he'd be a good resource to pull in just because of that board seat, and among other reasons. The USDA was one, but the first upcoming grant was October the 8th, and that's through Tennessee. The mayor brought that out, I believe, on the last Friday before. So there's a few pieces that we can get cracking on immediately that would at least position us to make a request by the 8th of October, and those are the bulk of them.
Okay. Ken, you have any thoughts about us, how moving ahead? We certainly need your all's involvement in this arena.
Yeah, let me give you some information on the Tennessee Broadband Accessibility Grant. It's been around probably about 3 or 4 years. It's funded at $15 million this year. And it's definitely an application that the service provider would have to fill out. There's a lot of technical questions that they have to answer. There's also an engineering study that will need to be done on the area that's chosen. Another thing I would caution you about is you need proof, if the area doesn't have 10-1 service. And there's certain surveys that can be done. CenturyLink has fault. When somebody gets grant funds, they have to fault the project. So some like we have a project in Hawkins County where the provider doesn't really care, but they do. So you have to have your data together. Another thing I would recommend is Crystal Ivy is over the Broadband Accessibility Grant Program. And I think she's a good person to talk to. She can talk about what's been done in other parts of the state. And I got a feeling your situation is something, she's seen before. And I think you would benefit from talking with her. The other thing that's, probably going to take a lot of work is figuring out which geography makes the best, sense to serve. And sometimes that can be done in coordination with the survey. The last thing I would mention to you is that this is a 50-50 grant. So if you apply for $1 million of grant funds, you got to come up with $1 million match. When I worked with this program before, the provider came up with the match. And the argument was, there wasn't enough density, but if it was subsidized at 50%, the numbers made sense for them. So sometimes you got to find an area that the economics make sense.
Okay.
Chairman Acuff?
Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering if now that we're trying to get back into schools, and Mr. McLean, you may be able to answer this, what's the possibility of getting the school system's help as far as the surveys?
We can absolutely help with the survey, but I will add we have put out several surveys that I can share with Mr. Acuff or whomever tomorrow that he can put out to the group. We've sent out 2 or 3 different surveys over the last 3 weeks. I think the issue that we may run into for our survey is it does not have specific addresses to that survey.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, the address.
Does it have their home school?
Yes.
Okay, that would help us some at least. One more question, if I may. Are these in-person surveys or are these internet surveys?
They are internet surveys. they're all within a Google survey that I can share the results pretty quick.
Okay, well, then that puts out the people who aren't involved with internet right now. So I guess that was my question. If once they got back in, when they were trying to come back into the building at their 25%, if we could do an in-person survey or at least send it home. And that way the ones that we couldn't reach with internet, we would get their input as to would they pay for it, are they interested, and so forth.
That's something we could absolutely do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion items or points or questions? As I said, we don't want to belabor this, but we've kind of got a deadline and a timeline that's pretty tight as we move forward. Let me just say this. I know that we're going to have, as I said, a smaller group work on this. If you're interested in being a part of that smaller group, I'd like representation from a number of sectors. Just drop me an email, or probably email would be the best, or you can call me on my cell phone, which is 423-794-6770. I'll put that in the chat mode. Chat's disabled for some reason. So I'll send that out as an email too, because if we're going to tackle this problem, we're all going to need to work together going forward.
If I may, one more comment, I definitely think we need to go forward with this. And it is going to be a group effort. I'm sure we need the school system as well as the county people, and definitely Unicoi County. And I think working on this as a team would be the best opportunity we can take.
Point well taken. Thank you. Any other discussion or points that need to be made before we move down to resolutions?
Dr. Acuff, this is Marie Rice again.
Yes, ma'am.
One thing you might need to identify is what utility or telephone service provider is in that area. There could be several, and sometimes there's a conflict with their territory. And due to the state law, sometimes they can't encroach into the other territory or the other areas.
Good point. Good point.
Chairman Acuff?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for Ken, or whoever can answer this, please. Does the responsibility for the survey data fall on Carter County, or will a provider do some of that research for themselves?
I've only been involved with one survey, but that particular situation, they brought in an outside person with a group called Connected Nation. That way they had, independent verification. So, and there may be other ways to do the survey. That's something Crystal Ivy may be able to help us with. But you want a survey that you can defend.
Yes. And remind me who Crystal Ivy is with.
Ginger, get a little bit closer to your microphone.
Okay.
We kind of fell out.
Who is Crystal Ivy with?
She's with the state of Tennessee, and she's over the broadband accessibility grant. That's the one that's due October the 8th. And I'll be glad to coordinate with her if we need to.
Thank you, Ken. That would be very helpful.
Dr. Acuff, a question, if I may.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
wasn't able to attend Friday's session. Did we have any utility people involved? I know Ross Garland had mentioned that at our commission meeting.
There were no utilities on the line, and that was discussed about what it costs to rent a pole, for instance, from a utility company, and how expensive that could be. And SkyBest also said that some utilities are more difficult to work with than others. So yeah, that's something we're going to have to take into consideration. I know that I guess Commissioner Mike Hill can answer this, but I would imagine with your discussions with Mountain Electric, I think they're in that business, are they not, or have shown some interest?
They haven't actually, and I've had a call in several times with, and I can't remember his last name, JD, down at the Newland office. He's the fellow that I guess he's a regional manager type of person, to see what's involved in the use of their poles, if they have some assets, if they would be willing to partner with someone that was coming in. If you remember, Edward mentioned all these things, Edward Tennant, when we talked about this. We have to attract a provider that would take us seriously, and then we have to kind of bring in some willing workers, some partners, kind of do some paving, it sounded like, which would be to, I think we bring on them and probably Elizabethton Electric. I have heard that the meeting on the 13th has been postponed or changed. I don't know when that was rescheduled for. They were having a broadband presentation of some sort for city council from an enterprise that was trying to come in and partner with the electric company there. And then Bright Ridge is on the other side of the county. And I fully would expect that we'd have multiple companies providing service in multiple districts, because they don't all touch, you know. And I don't know how that stacks up, but the second round would be to bring in all of the folks that own what he called the vertical inventory, I think, the vertical assets. And that would be the poles and the towers and that kind of thing, and see what could be strung together.
Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't SkyBest say that we could use some of their engineers to help us do some of the data? I vaguely recall that. I mean, that was a long discussion, but obviously we're going to need, as Ken pointed out, an engineering piece in all of this.
Right. They have done their own. Okay, so SkyBest is a wholly owned subsidiary of Skyline Telephone Company, which is headquartered in West Jefferson, North Carolina. Representative Timothy Hill carried legislation that successfully allowed them to come into Tennessee 4 or 5, 6 years ago. I'm not sure how long ago, but he's the fellow that changed the rules so that they could come in and serve parts of Johnson County, which is contiguous to Ashe County, where the Skyline SkyBest home office is. Their interest is in expanding the network at the ends of where their current network lets off or stops. They have done their own engineering, and they've actually applied for and received their own grants in North Carolina, where they're considered a nonprofit because of the telecom. But here in Tennessee, they're considered a competitive entity. So I think if they were interested, that they have resources that they would bring to bear. But there are some other pieces, there are some other layers in this thing that would be required if we were to do a partnership of any kind with them. I don't know about Bright Ridge. I don't know about any other providers. That's as ankle deep as I've gotten into this. But, you know, with the critical need in Roan Mountain, I mean, we've got kids that need to be able to do the distance learning thing that don't have any connectivity. And, you know, that's gonna be super challenging. And whatever we do tonight and whatever we do this year is not going to help them. That's the disappointing piece of this. But the key is to get off the ground. And I think this committee has the best shot of anything that I've seen since I took the seat. And, you know, I like the looks of the group I'm looking at on the screen here a lot. I think we've got the critical parts of what we need. A paper survey, I'd be willing to mask up and go into the schools and meet parents or whatever and fill them out where they didn't have to touch anything. We might consider that, because the folks that don't have any connectivity, where option B is going to be something really uncomfortable, like door to door, which I don't think we want to try, but we're going to have to identify those addresses. And then Chris Schutler has said that he has the capacity to produce a map similar to ones that I provided to you, Dr. Acuff, that SkyBest had provided from similar successfully acquired grant projects, broadband projects, where they put the different colored dots representing the level of connectivity, and a lot of it being none. So, you know, do we need a motion to proceed forward? Because I'm happy to put that forward. to take this on as our last hurrah, our final big push on Health and Welfare Committee?
If you'd like to make a motion, I think it should be specific to how we want this structure to look like. Is it a task force? Is it a ad hoc committee of the Health and Welfare Group? And I want to make sure that we include everyone that wants to participate, that we have representation at the table from city and county schools, from Unicoi County, our TCAT, Northeast, anybody else that has a stake in this as we move forward. I know we don't want a committee of thousands, but we need representation from anyone, from any stakeholder that wants to pursue this. So whatever your wish is.
Can we not pull in people as we need them, or just?
Oh, I think so.
Perpetually invite, right?
Sure.
That's the motion I would make, that we proceed and get as close to the goal line as we can for applying for some money on the 8th of October. And I think whatever work we put into this would be useful going forward, even if the October 8th state grant isn't acquired. And then, some other things we need to consider is, we may have areas that we can't get a grant for. They mentioned that if there's an incumbent provider touching a certain area that is underserved, that grant money won't pay for someone to come build over that thing. So, I mean, there's another component that I put into one of the handouts I sent over that was called Go Shopping, and explore how it would be funded. And because this really is like electricity back in the turn of the century, 1900s or whatever. It's become a real basic utility. Yeah. And so we're filling in the gaps similar to what TVA did when they hot wired up the Appalachian region with electric service back in the day. And there'll be a cost associated with it. I had some folks asking me about the possibility of issuing bonds, which I know absolutely nothing about, but I know we got at least one guy on here, or we did have 5 minutes ago, that is somewhat familiar with municipals. I think we've got enough talent in the pool to get a good way toward something. And so anyway, I would move that we take this on as a committee, and we invite any partners that want to take a piece of the yoke and help us push it forward.
Okay, that's a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Commissioner Holdren is the second. Any further discussion? I'll commit to make sure that everybody has all the attachments, everything that I have been sent, so that you can look at the same data, the maps that Commissioner Hill has sent, the information that Ken Ray has sent out, and any other items that have come through my hands or on my laptop regarding this particular issue. So if there's no further discussion, Gwen, would you mind calling the roll? Is she still on? Yeah.
Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Robert Acuff.
Aye.
Brad Johnson.
Aye.
Austin James.
Aye.
Ginger Holdren.
Yes.
Sonja Culler.
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all. We'll expect an email from me in the next little bit with all those attachments, and we'll move forward with it. Thank you all for being on, those of you that specifically were on for this topic. Item number 6 is resolutions. I know that Attorney Harden is still on the line. Josh, you want to talk about the resolution honoring the life of Truman Clark?
Yeah, I can. Basically, I think everybody remembers Truman Clark, even though he served prior to my time with the county. He was obviously a prominent figure in the county's history, and he got a lot accomplished during his apparently 20 years as the county executive, what's now the county mayor. So this resolution was prepared just to honor him in some way on behalf of the county commission, and it sets forth some history of his life there. I think speaks for itself, and of course would be and should be read, I think, in the full commission meeting. But for this purpose here, I would just stand on it as written and hope everybody has had a chance to look at it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I make motion that we accept it as presented.
I second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Hill, a second by Commissioner Collar. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Gwen, I'll let you call the roll again, please, ma'am.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Aye.
Sonja Color,
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
Thank you all. I don't know how the presentation will eventually work out. I would hope that we could get some of Truman's family in the courtroom, just like we have a pending or it's approved resolution for Clifford Peters. And hopefully at some point in time, when this veil of pestilence lifts, we'll be able to get back in the courtroom and have folks attend, and maybe a celebration with them on the lives of their loved ones and the commitment that they have made and the leadership that they provided for Carter County. 6B is a resolution commemorating the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and Commissioner Holdren has been a driving force for a couple of months now, focusing on us recognizing women's suffrage, and it's an important thing because Tennessee's role, but I'm going to turn it over to her and let her talk a little bit about it, because it's an opportunity for us to shine as the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, Dr. Acuff, and thank you for being involved in this as well. In a meeting with the Over Mountain Republican women, formerly known as just the Carter County Republican women, we had a visitor, Pat Buck, from the Democratic Women's Committee, and they wanted to.
Yeah, can you get a little closer to the microphone, Commissioner Holder?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, the Democratic women and the Republican women have a joint effort in commemorating this event. And if you all will permit me, I would like to share just a little bit of history. I found this quite interesting. I did not know this myself until a few months ago. This is the kind of thing I wish I had been taught in history classes when I was a student. But the women's suffrage movement started in the 1800s. And around 1890, a woman named Carrie Clinton Lane Chapman Catt became involved in the movement nationally and later internationally. She was president of the National American Woman Suffrage Association in 1919, when women's right to vote was presented as a possible U.S. constitutional amendment. There were 48 states at that time in America, and passing an amendment required that 36 states ratify it. So by the summer of 1920, 35 states had ratified the 19th Amendment, 8 states had rejected it, and 5 had not yet voted. Tennessee called a special assembly on August the 9th to consider the issue. The Tennessee State Senate had already passed the amendment. Now it was in the hands of the State House. Red roses worn on the lapel of the state reps signified their opposition to women's right to vote. When the session began, there were 48 wearing the red roses and 48 who were not. Suffragists wore yellow roses. It looked as if the issue would remain deadlocked, 48-48. Representative Harry T. Byrne, a Republican from McMinn County, was the youngest member of the state legislature, 22 years old at the time of his election. He showed up at the special called meeting wearing a red rose and prepared to vote against ratification. But that was not the only thing he carried on his suit. His mother, Phoebe Insminger Byrne, also, she was known by her loved ones as Miss Phoebe, had written her son a letter which he was clutching in his pocket. It went like this: "Hurrah, and vote for suffrage. Don't keep them in doubt. I noticed some of the speeches against. They were bitter. I have been watching to see how you stood, but have not noticed anything yet. Be a good boy and help Mrs. Cat put the rat in ratification." Harry Burns said, "Ah," and with that single syllable, he extended the vote to the women of America. The 19th Amendment was added to the Constitution of the United States, and Tennessee's significance is that we were the 36th state to ratify it. So Harry later expressed that he had a moral and legal right to ratify, but made no secret of his mother's influence. "I know that a mother's advice is always safest for her boy to follow, and my mother wanted me to vote for ratification." So these women in our town want to get together to commemorate this event, but COVID-19 is standing in the way of lots of ideas that they've had. But two things are still on the agenda right now. One is a movie to be shown at the Bonnie Kate on August 22nd, if that doesn't get changed. It's called Iron Jawed Angel. It was put out by HBO. It is about the history of the 19th Amendment, and the final scene in the movie shows what happened in Nashville, Tennessee. Then the women of both parties would like to donate a yellow rose bush. They would like to do so for the city of Elizabethton and for Carter County with a plaque if we will approve it. And there's something I think that's going to come up on our building and grounds agenda that might show that this will be the perfect time for a yellow rose bush to be planted on our Carter County building grounds. So that is something that I would like to get approval for tonight, if we can, for them to do that.
Okay. Thank you. That brings out the significance of Tennessee's role in ratifying the 19th Amendment, something we all should be very proud of and celebrate. So thank you, Commissioner Holdren, for giving us that background. The resolution has been distributed. Josh, I'll turn to you if you would like to give us a summary of what is contained, just for the record, since we are being recorded here.
Yes, as Commissioner Holdren talked about, obviously there's numerous articles and lengthy stories that could be told supporting this. And what I tried to do in the resolution is just kind of capture a little bit of the history of the suffrage movement and the specifics as to Tennessee, which is obviously a special thing for this state and our commission to commemorate the Tennessee's role in it. But essentially, the resolution is commemorating the centennial of the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Okay, thank you. Let's vote on the resolution first, and then let's pick up, unless Commissioner Holdren wants to defer the yellow rose bush to building and grounds. If you wanted to go along with this resolution, that's fine. But if you want to defer it to building and grounds for a spot of honor within the county, we can do that as well. So I need a motion for approving the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Commissioner Jenkins made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Culler. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Gwen, please call the roll.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Aye.
Sandra Collar,
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
Thank you all. It is unanimous. Commissioner Holden, what is your wish? You want to defer the planting of the rose bush to building and grounds, or do you have an idea of what you would like to do in regards to that particular planting? Do you want it to go along with this resolution, which I think it would accompany it nicely, if you have some ideas about that? Sorry to put you on the spot for that one.
No, I don't have a specific place in mind. I would like to leave that decision to a larger group of people or to someone that's more knowledgeable about what rose bushes need as far as light and all that. But I would like to bring it forth as a motion that we give our blessing to these two groups of women that would like to donate this bush and also pay for a commemorative plaque to go either as a sign standing up beside it or on the ground. I'm not sure which, but I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, do we have a motion put forth by Commissioner Holden, second by Commissioner McCamey? Further discussion. So it would be, the motion essentially says that it would be a larger group involved of where that particular rose bush should go. And secondly, a commemorative plaque that would accompany that as well. Is that the synopsis or the summary, would you say?
Good summary, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Gwen, please call the roll.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Aye.
Sandra Collar,
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
Resolution passes unanimously, or the motion passes unanimously. I think it'll be nice to accompany the resolution. So Commissioner Holden, thank you for doing that. Quickly, our status, just to catch everybody up on our health and welfare initiatives, other than the broadband issue. As you know, we passed a resolution on the homeless task force. I've been in discussion with Pastor Brandon Young. He's very excited about that. We're supposed to have a conversation this coming week. The city, I think, has it on their next agenda to pass their resolution, which is a companion resolution that they are joining with us for this task force. We've reached out to several people. I think I've indicated that Ann Cooper, who is the executive director of the Appalachian Homeless Coalition in Washington County, Johnson City, wants to be a part of that group. I've had a number of folks, as I've been out campaigning on another issue, that have noticed that that's what we're doing and would like to be a part of that. So I think we'll have a good group going forward to answer the questions that we put before them. I know that the issue of food sufficiency has come back up. I've talked with members of TLC and other organizations that have been hard at work focusing on making sure that particularly our kids, but also families who need food, are served. I understand, unless anybody has any different information than I have, it was said, I think at the financial management meeting on Monday when Superintendent McAbee was on, that the food, it was asked certainly about meals and the food program. I believe the county schools are going to continue that. I don't have any information on what the city schools are doing currently. I've had a number of people comment about the ongoing issue of our opioid problem. I think I've made this statement before that we need to get back to work and get people focused on doing some positive things, because of every 1% loss in jobs across this country, there's a 36% increase in deaths from opioid overdoses. So it's a significant problem, not only in our region, but the entire nation. I don't think, unless someone has any old business that is to be brought before us. Hearing none, is there any new business? Any comments from commissioners? Hearing none, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Excuse me,
Yes, ma'am.
I was a little slow on the button.
That's okay.
Do we need to make anything official about our committee getting together again to work on the broadband issue? Or can we kind of do that freely as needed? I don't know the legalities of that, so I just want to make sure that we can get together soon since time is of the essence.
Right. Attorney Harden, if you're still on the line there, I see your name. I assume you are. Can you give us advice? Can we adjourn or recess to a different time and date to do our work on that particular issue?
You can recess this meeting and reconvene, but you would need to announce tonight on this meeting when that time would be that you would reconvene. Unless it's a separately advertised meeting, of course, two or more commissioners can't discuss or deliberate items. So you can recess tonight if you would announce a new date. That's quicker than what an advertisement will let you do.
What about a workshop?
Yeah, it's if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. No matter what you call it, it's still a discussion by more than one commissioner deliberating on items that may be voted on. I understand the urgency. I understand the deadline, but I have to answer the question that way.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
For us to conduct business, will we have to have at least 5 commissioners present at that meeting?
To actually vote on something, yes. I mean, to actually pass any motion, you would have to have a quorum present.
Okay, so we have to find a date where at least 5 of us are committed to being there.
Let me get a calendar real quickly. I don't have one right before me, but I can grab it and let's all look. And if there's a date that rings true, we can announce it tonight and actually recess tonight and convene at that date. Hang on just a minute. Okay, if we do it on a Tuesday, we would have to avoid, I guess on the 11th, I forgot which budget committee is. I think, is that the 11th or is that the 10th?
That's the 10th. Animal shelter will be the 11th.
Okay, thank you. The following Tuesday after the 11th is the 18th. Does that look doable for the majority of folks on the call? I see many thumbs up. So if there are no objections to that, and also our other commissioners that are on there, Commissioner Woodby, Commissioner Grindstaff, y'all are certainly welcome. We would welcome you to join us in this effort. So your participation would be wonderful. So, Attorney, I will ask for a motion to recess us until Tuesday the 18th at 6 p.m. unless there are objections. So if somebody would like to make that motion.
So moved, Chairman.
Thank you. There was a second by Commissioner Carr. Any further discussion or comment? So if this passes, we will convene again via Zoom on the 18th of August which is a Tuesday at 6 p.m. So, yeah, my wife reminds me that that will be in honor of her birthday. So, so maybe we can get some business done in honor of her day. So, Gwen, will you please call the roll?
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren, Collar,
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
It is unanimous. Thank you. We are recessed to Tuesday, August the 18th, 6 p.m.
Can I take law enforcement next?
Sure.
I have a guest as well.
Okay. Go.
Going, sir. Yes. Does anybody need a break at this? And hearing none, we will convene the Carter County Law Enforcement Committee at 7:24. We'll go off the roll call from the previous meeting of Health and Welfare. I'll open the floor for a motion to approve our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Johnson, second Commissioner Acuff. Any discussion? Additions, deletions? All right. All those in favor reply with aye.
Aye.
Aye. And all those opposed reply with nay. All right. Have minutes of our previous meeting circulated at this time?
Yes, I think Commissioner Jenkins sent everybody a blast from our committee. I don't know that Commissioner Kohler got that, but he did a synopsis of all the minutes of our last meetings. So I appreciate him doing that because I wouldn't have gotten to it. So Randall, thank you.
No problem.
I'll open the floor for a motion to approve.
I make a
So
motion
moved.
to approve.
All right, I will second that.
Motion from Commissioner Holdren, second from Commissioner Acuff. Any discussion? And let's do a roll call because some will probably need to abstain for not being present. Gwen, can you do that?
Randall Jenkins, Mr. Jenkins, Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren, Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Sandra Color,
I will abstain since I did not receive them.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
All in, all done? Motion passes with one abstention. Item 3 under new business, I'd like to introduce my favorite constable / professor. Miles Cook is with us tonight. I sent a little synopsis that he provided with me of his program over at TCAT. He's doing some really remarkable things in the criminal justice field, bringing up new law enforcement professionals. And this time I'll just open the floor for you, Miles. Miles, welcome to the Law Enforcement Committee. We're meeting specially for you tonight.
Great. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry to take up your time. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just to brief you guys really quick on what we have going, and it was neat to hear from Northeast State. I'm going to kind of bounce through my notes here and save you some time. But TCAT Elizabeth, and we've started an 864-hour criminal justice program that focuses mostly on corrections and some on law enforcement. We believe the benefit of it can really change the way Tennessee views law enforcement and trains law enforcement. Of course, TCAT, we focus on job-ready skills and certifications, which that's what law enforcement and correction is. And that type of training has never been done on a technical college model. And we feel that the mutual benefits of that will really be seen and have been seen in Elizabethton so far. It's never been done in the state before. It's never been done on a model like that. This kind of model, this program, the best way I can describe it quickly is a healthy mix between college and academy. It'll result in a very much more advanced career training for law enforcement and corrections. So we've done a lot of neat things. We've partnered with the Tennessee Corrections Institute. We've partnered with Tennessee Department of Corrections. We're still seeing how that plays out and what they're gonna offer with us. We believe it lines up good with the governor's at-risk counties, mostly because the program, what we do is train students for 8 months of hands-on training. It's really exceptional. It's about 2 to 3 times as long as a standard post academy and about 20 times longer than a basic TCI certification. In pairing with those guys, TCI come out of Nashville a couple of weeks ago down to Elizabethton, first time it's ever been done in the state, certified our students as correctional officers and certified officers from various other counties that our TCAT serves. TDOC is hoping to offer a similar things, send TDOC out this way, train our students on job training that'll give them certifications, and invite other people. We have a similar plan with post for training, and the post classes, we will host them and invite Unicoi, Johnson, Carter, Washington, and Sullivan. What that does for us in places, especially like Unicoi and Johnson, it's tough with budgets, training budgets, to get those guys out across the state for different levels of training. What we can do is offer it here at TCAT Elizabethton at no cost. And so it helps my students. We can also borrow instructors from those sheriff's offices, police departments, and other professionals and host certified training there. And so it's a great mutual benefit. It gets instructors out of sheriff's office, police departments. It gets our students trained up. It's free training when we host these classes for local agencies. And it's just a great benefit for everybody. Some quick things on the program. Because of its length, students go for practically no cost. Most of it's covered by federal Pell and also Tennessee Promise and other things. And so they're doing things, and I know this is kind of law enforcement speak, but they're doing things that have never been done before especially in corrections training. A perfect example, all of my students have written multiple search warrants who have been looked at by local district attorneys and signed off on. That's something, and I'm sure Commissioner Johnson can attest to that. A majority of your patrol officers have never had experience doing that. And so these guys are coming out very, very, very well trained at no cost, and we're sharing the training with local agencies. It's a neat idea, what we have built. And Nashville, TCI and TDOC, I got a call from Commissioner Parker in Nashville. They're very much on board. Obviously, they're hurting for workers right now. And TCI is really excited to partner as far as with an educational entity. Neither one of those people have ever partnered with an educational entity.
Well, thank you, Miles. Does anyone have any questions for our presenter?
I would be happy to answer any questions in reference to the program.
Chairman Hill?
Yes, Mayor.
I'm glad he was up here tonight. I guess Dr. Bullock is probably, I don't see her around, she's probably gone by now, but we discussed today maybe using, instead of having to hire a security system, Miles, if we could use, we might could use your, some of your, or some, off-duty police officers and stuff to do the security part up there, we, instead of hiring a security system, we can do off-duty or or do students, you know, to do the security part, check temperatures, and do security. What do you think about that?
So I think we'd be open to it. There's been a lot of discussions with TCAT, you know, in Tennessee Board of Regents as a state, and also TCAT Elizabethan about security on campus and police presence and such. I would certainly be open to, because we have certain adjuncts and things like that. I would certainly be open to that, Mayor. Also, as we go down the road and hope, the great hope of this is to push this to post. And so, and really get recognition from them on a new paradigm of training and education. And in today's world for law enforcement, saying that you can share training and do it at no cost for 3 times the length is kind of a hard thing to turn down. So I think we'll have a big influx of officers and people becoming officers and posts. I think that's something we could work out, Mayor. I hope to talk to Northeast. A big thing with the Tennessee Department of Corrections is getting this articulated into our trimester hours going toward an associate's degree for criminal justice. Building sharing, security sharing. Of course, TCAT and Northeast, that's a little bit above my program, but I would absolutely hop on board with partnering with Northeast, whether it be for our classes or for security or any of that, sir.
They were talking about, you know, they actually, you know, they'd be getting paid. I mean, or ever how they want to do it. But she's talked about hiring a security company. I just thought you are local people, you know, and get on board with that. So I just thought you know, it'd be something good to talk about later for you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Chairman, can I ask a question?
Recognize Bob Acuff.
Miles, underscore once again the savings that you think will be to counties that have squeezed budgets and how this is going to impact them positively.
Absolutely. So it's great for our students to be able to receive that level of training at other places. I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars. So with that, as from example, me working in Carter County for nearly a decade, we take such a number of new hires in corrections, train them up to standard, get them working uniforms. The cost is astronomical to get them started, and then figure out it is not for them. And so and I'm sure TDOC sees it this way because they suffer similar issues. And I know Johnson County, speaking to Sheriff Tester, Sheriff Lunsford here in Carter, and all the other sheriffs, but Unicoi, Johnson, and Carter especially, there's such a turnover that half of the budget is going toward losing these new hires. And what we have here is an educational feeder looking for a career. And so they're saving money getting better education. The counties are saving tons of money by already having educated, trained up, and certified people who know what the job is and are not apt to leave. And so the savings are huge. It really cannot be overestimated.
Yeah. Well,
and not only that, Dr. Acuff, but also the training sharing. So I received our students come out Axon Taser certified.
Right.
And so Carter County was kind enough to send over some instructors for that. But I got calls from the patrol divisions at 2 different counties saying, we don't have the money to send our people anywhere. Can we bring them there?
Wow.
And so things like that are, if you think about this as an academy, as a college, but also as a regional training center, especially for our region, could make a world of difference.
Yeah. Well, I applaud what you're doing and support it. How can we as a county commission help you?
I think going forward, the resolution helps. And of course, with anything, I try not to delve too much into the political world. But you start talking about things like this, and really, this is a win-win-win. It's a win for the state. It's an unbelievable win for our students. And it's an unbelievable win for our counties. You're talking about feeding them the best trained people that they've ever had, and they're not having to spend a dime on it. And so it's a really great idea. It's a really great program, and just your guys' support is enough. And soon we will be reaching out kind of across the state. TDOC wants to take across the state, and American Corrections Association wants to take the block. We're working on an online educational block, and they want to take it nationally. And so this is all coming from Elizabeth, and so it's a lot of things going on that I'm really excited and happy about. And your guys' support is huge, especially as we start probably approaching Nashville with it.
Well, yeah, and I'll echo what I've heard from Commissioner Brad Johnson a number of times. Our men and women in our sheriff's department, particularly, are some of the best trained in the state, have lots of expertise, and it makes good sense for you to do this and for them to be a part of that training opportunity. I know I've talked with Mike Fraley a number of times and how involved he is in the academy across the state. But I'm just really pleased that you're doing this. I think this is a real opportunity for us.
I appreciate that, Dr. Acuff, and I agree. I think just it's great for our students, but to be able to train, share, and to be able to feed these 5 counties that we serve a level of a new employee that is beyond something that somebody's been there 10 years might have, and to offer it freely to the students and the counties and everybody is really a neat idea. And I think that law enforcement and corrections really fits this technical school model.
Thank you. Good.
Chairman Hill, I have one question.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Cook, how is it free? Can you explain who's footing the bill for this?
Yes, absolutely. So it is paid by obviously as TCAT, we have a revenue source, but usually, and every case that we've had so far is covered by federal Pell Grants.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything further for Mr. Cook? Okay, well then I took the liberty to have Josh Harden draft up the resolution that Miles is referring to, recommending that TCAT ramp this thing up and take it statewide. We don't want him to take them to take you, Miles. We want to keep you.
I'm Carter County forever.
Yeah, we don't want to export you, but your program, I think, has legs, and I think this would be a really great thing to put out there to the world.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to share my screen. I've got it pulled up here, but it's disabled, it seems. But I did circulate that around with the agenda. Has everyone seen it?
Hey, Mike, try your screen share now.
Oh, mine's got a dancing bear on it.
Hey, Mike, I made another adjustment. It should allow you now.
Lord, there's Elmer Fudd.
As long as it's just a dancing bear, we're all right there, John.
That bear isn't wearing a Speedo, is it?
Kind of got a gagging look on their face. I think it is. They don't picture that far down. You know, while they're working on that, Miles, my hat's off to you for your training and for being expedient in getting this thing started. But the question I have, since the 19th Amendment was approved, and there is no such thing now as women's suffrage, it is now male suffrage. Be a candidate for a chairman where we can go out and have a new whipping post put, because we're paying for this now.
No comment.
I apologize, but I can't make this work. I don't think this is going to happen. Anyway, Mr. Harden, if you want to summarize, that'd be swell.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just in the interest of time, it's not very complicated. It's just a resolution recognizing the value of the program locally and statewide, and Mr. Cook's service therein, and lending the formal support of the commission for the expansion of the program.
I would move for the approval of the resolution.
I will second it. Well, that's good. That scared them to death. Mike, your speaker's off. I know you can't hear me. That'd be stupid, but still.
Look, I was trying to get this thing to pop up in the background here. That's not working either. Sorry, guys. With that, Gwen, if you could do a roll call on this one, please.
Randall Jenkins. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Robert Acuff.
Aye.
Brad Johnson.
Aye.
Austin James.
Aye.
Ginger Holdren.
Yes.
Tanja Color.
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
That was unanimous. Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you, Miles. And enjoy the resolution. I guess it'll be on the floor for the full commission in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, I will. Thank you all for your time.
All right, moving right along. I don't have anything under old business. Does anyone have any old business that we may not? And we'll move on to the sheriff's report, which neither he nor the chief is present, so we can scratch that and go straight into commissioner comments. And those were short and sweet, so I'd like to open the floor at this time for a motion to adjourn.
So
I'll make the motion there, Mr. Chairman, as long as we can take a break following this.
Motion from Commissioner Johnson.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Acuff. All in favor, reply with aye.
Aye.
That sounded unanimous to me. Thank you. We stand adjourned.
Take a
5-minute break, sure.
15 till, 10 minutes till start back.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. So is anybody zoomed out as I am? I'm counting. This is my 5th one today.
Wow, it is different.
What's in that cup, Sandra?
Coffee.
Kahlua.
It is a coffee cup.
Yes, I know.
I've got one of those too.
We'll be able to tell. We'll be able to tell as attitudes change a little bit later on.
Oh, wow.
Can we do rules and bylaws first? I want to make a motion that James and Randall have to start showing themselves.
Hey,
I'll have to agree with that since I didn't come prepared to show myself.
along those lines, I found a button that says "touch up yourself" or something like that, but I don't think it helped any. I was joking with Patty earlier. I found a button that said "touch up," and I was like, I wonder if this will make it a little easier on my colleague.
James, Jenkins, let's go.
We're waiting on you all.
We're ready.
Bring it.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and call the rules and bylaws to order. Everybody's ready.
We're ready.
All right. So everybody's got the agenda. I'll get a motion for to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, or do I need to do roll call?
No.
All in favor by saying yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I will abstain.
Yes, ma'am. It's the agenda, Sandra.
I don't have it.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. I'll send that to you. Right. Well, I'll just
That's
go
okay.
on.
That's all right.
All right. So that motion passes. Approval of July minutes. I get a motion on that.
Motion to approve, sir.
A second. Any discussion? All in favor by saying yes?
Yes.
One abstain.
Gotcha. Passes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any public comments? I don't see anybody else on. It's just us. All right. So there's no new business. And the update on Pro Call Pro. Abby, are you still on the phone or on the call?
I'm here.
Did you get my email about setting a date? It's just going to be us and Anthony and Mary's office.
I didn't get a chance to talk with Patsy and Mary today because they were very busy as it's, first of the month and people getting tags, but I'll try to get with them this week and try to get something set up.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, if nobody has anything else on that, we'll just move on until we get that set up. Dr. Acuff, did you have something to go back on the ethics discussion that came back from Financial Committee?
Only that they turfed it back to us, and I guess we have to come up with some sort of plan going forward. And I'll defer to Commissioner Johnson, since he chairs that committee from financial management, because I know that there were issues besides financial malfeasance, if you will, that falls under the ethics umbrella. So, Brad, you have any comment coming from financial management, or Ginger or Austin?
Well, I spent a while this morning with our county attorney on the topic, because, you know, in reading the 81 Act, the finance director or the financial management committee has some responsibilities when it comes down to malfeasance or any misuse of funds from our county. Now, there's other forms of violation that is not financially related, and that may be what we need to address. But the thing I think previously the intent was, for one, the two committees have been dissolved, and we're trying to resurrect. But then to qualify why we would want to resurrect it, for one, an investigation committee, one of the aspects or one of the ways you can look at it is if there was a violation or if there was a formal complaint. So the steps that we would take presently would be to, through the committee, Chairman Jenkins, is to refer them or assign them to our county attorney for investigation. So where if there was sufficient evidence to find probable cause of an offense, then he, as our county attorney and our investigator both, would be the one that would go to the attorney general to see if it was had enough information, evidence for prosecution. I don't know if, yeah, Josh is still on here. He may want to address that further. And you just think about it. If you're going to form an investigation committee, you would want somebody on there to know how to investigate to start with. It's not an easy thing. And then you don't have a lot of, I'm going to say, backing from other agencies or state or federal or laws for you as a committee member to go digging into files or to go out and to do interviews. So, Josh, if you want to address that a little bit.
Yeah, well, as we talked about this morning, as I've talked about in other committees, you know, it's a very limited jurisdiction that an ethics committee has in the county. It's not like it's limited on purpose. It's just there isn't much of a jurisdiction. It's simply to investigate if you think there is something to investigate, some financial or improper gift, acceptance, conflict of interest, basically a financial conflict of interest. And if there is something, you know, make a formal complaint in writing to me and or the district attorney general for this district is Ken Baldwin. So in the limited times it's happened since I've been here, the last 7-8 years total, I think there's been 3 instances, and you know, it's a formal written complaint made by some member of the body or someone to me, and if I investigate and find, at least in my opinion, that facts are sufficient to forward it on up the chain, then I would forward that to the district attorney's office and or the finance director to the comptroller's office. And so that's the way it's worked. There isn't a whole lot of teeth to the ethics committee, whether you have it or not, frankly, it's just the initial, I guess, complaint initiator. And as I've told you all in the past, I don't care if it's from an ethics committee or one of y'all individually. If somebody is concerned enough to make a formal written complaint to me, then I've always handled that through the chair of the commission. I do my investigation. I make a written report, and I have forwarded things to the district attorney that has never been acted on. So I'm happy to continue doing it that way. I'm certainly not trying to discourage an ethics committee if you want to reboot it or whatever you want to call it. But it's just the jurisdiction is very limited.
Thank you, Josh. So what's the will of the committee? Any action?
Just one question, Attorney Harden. You indicated that you would work through the chair of the Board of Commissioners. What if the complaint is against that individual? What is the default?
Right. Well, just as anything else, I would go to the vice chair if it concerned the chair. And of course, I know we're in a little precarious situation with that right now, but hopefully that'll be resolved next month.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Attorney Harden? And seeing no action on this, moving on. Actually, I don't have anything else for tonight, so unless there's any new business that I've missed out on. Nope. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, it's Isaiah. If you will, whenever you do set up that meeting
yes, sir.
with the update to Roll Call Pro, if at all possible, I'd like to know that date. I may also would like to attend if I can, just in order if we ever did have any issues and Anthony wasn't available, I may be able to provide some assistance.
Absolutely. And if it meant like two commissioners not being there at the same time, I mean, it would be more beneficial for you to be there than it would me. So at this point, I can go by anytime once you see how to do it, and or Abby or whoever, they can show the other person and so forth and so forth. So I will absolutely.
I was going to say, you could check with the county attorney, but I don't think that would be an issue. I mean, it's a product that we've already purchased. We've purchased for quite some time, and they're just going to be describing to us how to use the current product and put that into place and technical issues. I don't think that there'd be anything that we could discuss that, could be voted on.
Yeah, I agree on that. It's just a show and tell on the equipment. So yeah, that's no problem.
Sounds good. All right. Well, if there's nothing else for rules and bylaws, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor by saying yeah, aye.
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 Now,
Thank you, guys.
All right,
All right. Hey, calm down there, Brad. I'll call to order the Building and Grounds Committee. If you'll I hope everybody got their agenda. It kind of come around late. Now, when I got to looking, it didn't send. So I tried to resend it there. A couple modifications I seen on it already. I messed up and put August the 8th at the top. That needs to be August the 4th. And then if we'll drop down on old business to I, we'll add the Recycle Center edition. With that, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Got a motion to her second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any discussion? Not seeing any. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. Seeing none, motion passes. All right, I'll take a motion to approve July's meetings our minutes?
So moved.
Commissioner James,
Yes, and if y'all checked your email, Commissioner Holder had forwarded around some added changes that she had felt needed to be made to that, some spelling errors and things. If you had a chance to look at those will be the ones we'll be moving forward with. If everybody's good with that. Dr. Acuff, I think you made the motion. Are you still fine with that?
Sure.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, we got a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise?
abstain.
We got one abstain. Commissioner Culler. All right, public comments. Well, we've got a full house of public tonight, huh? All right, we're moving on to new business. If everybody will look at your in your emails, it should have got sent around there. If not, I'm in it right now and I can send it to you. We've got the maybe I didn't get it sent around. Is it anybody got anything from Keller Glass?
No.
No.
Oh, let me send that one missed. All right, everybody check your emails there. It should be. I think I got it sent around to everybody. Didn't go to Randall. Did everybody receive it?
I got it.
Yes.
All right. What this is the property assessor contacted me. They're where they've got to do all the reassessments and everything this year. They're going to have a pretty hefty traffic count, and he's concerned about his staff. He really doesn't have any way to block anybody out during the COVID virus and stuff of that nature. So he had asked that we also install him some protective glass like we have done for the other offices. And this is the quote that we had received back for that. And I'll entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to accept and move forward.
All
I'll
right.
second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. Now let's open up discussion.
Just out of curiosity, how does that number compare to, say, the trustee's office?
I'd have to go back and look, Commissioner Holdren. I think it's really close. I don't remember off the top of my head because we done the two separate ones where we done the door and the glass, and he's getting the door and the glass all in one. But I think this one, his is a touch less, which will be really close to accurate because they had just a few more feet than what he has. But they shouldn't. I think they're running really close.
Chairman James, if you don't mind, what's
Yes.
the cost on this estimate?
It's $4,212.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the trustee's office was around 3,500 or 3,700.
Yeah, but when we had to do, we went back and added the door later on to his original quote.
I thought that was for the circuit court clerk, was the door.
No, we done one for the trustee's office, and then we done the circuit court clerks.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think the 3,500 was theirs, and then I think their door was a little over $1,000. Commissioner Woodby, you're on here. Remind me, do you remember seeing the P over on that?
sorry. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I've got the original PO here pulled up, and the original PO was $3,511, but I must not have the other email here for the other quote when it come through. Let's see if I can see it in sent, because it would have been sent to you all too. No, I don't have it. I'll have to try to get it from Brad, but I think the door is a touch over $1,000 if I remember rightly. So those is running about 4,500 or 46, I believe.
Okay, not a big deal. I was just curious.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Gwen, if you don't care to do roll call.
I think we lost her.
I hope not.
I think we did.
Oh God, we better stop.
Dr. Akev, can you get in touch with her, somebody?
Yeah, I'll try.
If it helps, I'm recording this, or at least the light is lit up. I don't know.
I'm recording it because that's one of the requirements for the electronic meetings is that we have a digital recording and made available to the public. So I'll have this recording available sometime tomorrow if anybody needs it to do minutes from.
So Gwen would theoretically get the recording then.
Okay. Randall, do you care to do roll call then? Or Commissioner Holdren or anybody?
I will.
Thank you. I stepped away from my notepad. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Kohler? Kohler?
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Commissioner Hill?
Aye.
Commissioner Akev?
Aye.
Commissioner McCamey?
Aye.
Commissioner James?
Aye.
Commissioner Jenkins?
Aye.
Commissioner Holdren? Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right, we're going to move on to, if we can, everybody's good with it, I'd like to move down to the landscape and then come back to the striping the workforce. When I was going to forward around the agenda, it's supposed to go around, all this stuff was attached to it, and I realize now it's not. So I'm sending around the proposal from Roger for the striping right now. So I had talked to Rusty about doing some landscaping at the courthouse and letting Ron and the maintenance guys doing that because they're currently already doing that at the workforce development. So to try to save us a little bit of money and clean up some of our shrubbery, because I'm getting some people complaining that we need to redo that. I mean, him had spoke about that, and then we'd spoke about having them guys pull out all the mulch and remulching the flower beds. And so I just wanted to put it on here, and I discussed with him a little bit if they was running tight in their budget that maybe we could see if there was any money to do landscaping with. So Rusty, you care to chime in on that if y'all have some money to do that with right now, or?
We probably need a little money, yeah, because
how do you know, kind of have an idea? I mean, what you think?
Did we mention about 1,500?
Yeah, I figured probably around $1,500 probably would get the mulch and everything.
Well, we need to replace some of the wooden piece, the
landscaping timbers.
Yeah, I went brain dead. Landscaping timber. There's some of those are rotten and bad shape.
Okay.
With the landscaping timbers, if y'all don't mind me chiming in, it might be a good idea to go to more of a concrete barrier around the edge of the landscaping, so it's not a recurring cost with all the rain we're getting with those landscaping timbers rotting. And there's been a couple of times this year we have found termites in those, so it might be a good idea to go with something that might not attract termites to the building. Well,
I mean, and that's something, if that's just up to whatever you and Rusty decide you want to do. We're just going to try to maybe see about allocating some money for that. Whatever y'all think would be the best. I understand the landscape timbers probably are not. Where do we have landscape timbers?
Around all of those flower beds. In the back, I know for sure, some around the side there near Mary Googe's tag office, and I believe there's some around the front as well.
Oh, okay. I ain't never paying attention to them. But,
If I may, suggestions for the termites, you need cedar mulch.
okay.
Yeah, Mr.
All right,
Chairman, if I could make a suggestion too on the landscaping, oddly enough. There's been a lawsuit, at least one in the past, that cost the county a little bit of money. If we formerly had like a metal, a raised up metal, several, maybe 3 inches tall of a barrier separated the sidewalk from the mulch, and an elderly lady fell and was injured, and there was a lawsuit there that was settled. So whatever you do, make it, I guess, as well as aesthetically pleasing, make sure there's not any surfaces that are uneven where someone's foot could get caught on the corner of a landscaping timber or whatever that you might use to divide the barrier of the mulch from the sidewalk.
Okay. If anybody would like to put in the form of a motion for, let's say, $2,000, hopefully that ought to be able to get them, since we got to buy some timbers and stuff for the landscaping at the courthouse and the monument.
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I got a motion there. Here's a second.
I'll second it.
All right. Now we're in discussion. Any more discussion?
Chairman, just
Yes,
one thing, and I brought this to Buildings and Grounds several years ago too, but I would just remind the committee that there are horticulture programs at Hampton and Cloudland high schools. And I know at Hampton, they actually do some of this, the installation and the arranging of the plants, and they produce them there on the campus. If we could, when the box roses were put in, we being me, I asked what, similar plants would cost to be acquired through the CTE programs, and it was going to be a terrific bargain and a way to backdoor fund those vocational programs that are constantly looking for ways to fund their programs.
Yeah, I believe that's a terrific idea if the mayor can reach out to them and see. Of course, I don't know if that's something we'll be able to do this year with the current COVID situation. I don't know if they'll be in the
that's true.
doing that. But you could definitely check with them.
And I would just like to throw in, if anybody has seen the landscaping at the Board of Education building, that was actually done by the students that Mike is mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be a killer opportunity to put a little sign out there, that this was a project of the Hampton High School Agriculture Program, or FFA, or Miss Herbie Phil at Cloudland, and it really cross promotes some of the better aspects of the county and what our kids are capable of.
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be a terrific idea if they'll be able to do that this year. If not, like I said, Mr. Kirby had told me that was something they was well capable of doing also, and we do have them already on staff. So, if we can use the kids, that would be a great bargain. But if something for the current reasons don't go through, we just need to make sure that we get the beds taken care of for now. So, anyways, we've got a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any more discussion?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned the monument and the courthouse. Does the sheriff's building not need anything, or any other buildings for which we're responsible?
That would be up to the mayor. I don't know what
Election commission, yes.
Election commission. Okay, well, if we're doing more than that, do you all think the $2,000 will cover that, or?
Chairman, are we having to pay for the labor as well, or just the materials?
I think just the materials, because the labor, if Mr. Kirby and them does that, they're already on salary. So we're done paying their salary. So it wouldn't really come out of this money. This is, I think, would just be mulch, flowers, railroad tie replacements, things of that nature.
Well, it's expensive labor.
It is expensive labor. Do we not have money in the building and grounds to do this?
Yes.
We can check. We'll just have to check and see. But
Yes, there should be more than a sufficient amount of funds in the building and grounds, in the capital improvements, which that would come under. Matter of fact, it might even be best if we go out RFP to get a landscape contractor, because there's 100,000 of them in this county that does that kind of work. That is less expensive than the two guys we're going to be using that are skilled professionals.
Also on that, I mean, if we do contract it out, it's going to be kept up every month. It's something that we ain't going to have to revisit 3 months from now or 6 months from now. So that wouldn't be a bad idea. I agree with Mr. Johnson on that.
Well, now we know it's done been had when you start agreeing with Johnson.
Oh, God. I know where you live.
Well, look, guys, if y'all want to put it out on RFP, I'm good with doing that. I'm just trying to figure out how we can get it to where we can get it scheduled up and get it cleaned up for now, and then, get to working on this. So whatever the leisure of the committee is.
Can we go forward with this tonight without talking to Director Burke about the money? Like, in other words, if there's already money there, we don't need to approve money tonight, do we?
Well,
yeah.
Well, we can go ahead and approve it if we want to, because it's got to go to budget before they'll have to allocate the actual money. We're just essentially getting approval to move it from us to budget. So if committee wants to approve it, then we'll take it on the budget. And if we find that there's something there, then we can kill it there before it comes to the floor.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Isaiah Grunstaff. The only thing I can tell you as far as budget goes, I think we would like to hear a number that's backed by some estimates, not just some money figures kind of thrown around. And I do concur, a landscaping company, a contract, something that would maintain monthly or every 3 months as needed. In the long term, I think would be a good idea as well. But yeah, I would definitely like to see some real numbers as far as pricing goes. Even if it is, the mayor being able to front that out of the building and grounds budget, and then needing to have some monies moved after the fact. But there should be some monies in there that can be expended at as necessary to clean up around our facility. That's what the building and grounds budget is for.
Do we have a motion on the floor right now?
We do. We have a motion and a second.
What is that motion?
It was to essentially ask for $2,000 for the building and grounds for mulching and materials for the maintain and run the building.
Is this part of the job description of the current custodians? Because I kind of hate for us to vote to spend money if it's already part of a job description. Like, I didn't know that you could buy landscape work and they would come back on a maintenance schedule. I've never had that done at home, and I don't have a business that I have to keep up. So that was new to me, Commissioner Jenkins. You all help me understand this.
So Commissioner Holder and Commissioner Jenkins will be able to speak this too, because he deals with it, but most of your commercial entities and a lot of your governmentals to keep from having to maintain that year round, because we are in a seasonal climate. And you even sometimes contract with snow, but we won't need that because our highway department does that, but they will contract with a maintenance contract. And so every month they'll come around. If you contract with them to mow the yards, they'll clean the flower beds, they'll mulch, they'll trim the plants back, they'll weed the beds. Pretty well the full kit and caboodle, just depending on what you ask them to do. And there's just a set amount associated with that. And we just mail them a check every month for their services.
And I can't add much more onto that besides, it's pretty much a 12-month contract. So we do pay them through the winter as well. Most of the time. And, we can put things in there that they change the mulch, once a year, or, they trim the bushes every 2 months. I mean, we can add to the contract or take away whatever we see fit to make the grounds look, the way they're supposed to be. So it's not cheap. I've seen contracts, as cheap as $200 a month all the way up to $600 or $700, $800 a month. I mean, it just depends on what we ask for. So.
Yeah, it just depends on how depth we get into it. It depends on how many buildings we start trying to maintain. It depends on, that. But I know that what we're doing right now, it's the beds are getting some bad shape and stuff. So we're just gonna have to try to get through and get them cleaned up. We just don't have enough staff, I don't believe, to keep what we've got it running with. There's several buildings there. If you can figure the sheriff's department, the courthouse, the monument, the now workforce development, the elections office, and Rusty, what other buildings? Is that all the buildings we maintain?
UT Extension.
UT Extension.
We got planning beside of us, and then we got probation.
Planning and probation. Do we do anything with the health department, or do they take care of their own facility?
The health department, the trustees usually mow that, but I have sent my guys there a couple times when they were locked down. I sent the guys from workforce down there to mow a couple of times.
So essentially we would need to figure that building in also, because as we've been told over and over, not to rely on the trustees.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, if I can.
Uh-huh.
That's also something that, we've, with COVID and the situations that we've been in with this last little bit, the trustees have always been an integral part over the last at least 6 years or more that I've been a part of the commission, taking care of all the buildings and grounds. And, unfortunately with everything going on, it doesn't look like they're probably going to make a comeback as far as being able to capture everything that they have in the past.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like so. But we've got a motion on the floor, so let's go ahead and vote on that. And if we decide to do anything else, we'll do it after we get this one cleared up.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, Commissioner Holdren.
Do we still want to move forward with that motion, or would the person that made that one like to pull it back and let's state another one that includes an RFP?
That would be up to Commissioner Cutler. She's the one that made that motion. If you'd like to make a friendly amendment to make Commissioner Holdren, she may.
I'll be glad to withdraw my motion. I think it'd be better to do with the RFP since we have that many buildings.
Okay.
And I can put that in form of a motion, or if Ginger would like to, that's fine.
Oh, Ms. Cutler, go ahead.
And I'll put that in form of a motion that we do an RFP for a landscaping service for the county buildings.
Okay.
Second.
All right, well, we've got a motion and a second to seek an RFP for landscaping services for all county buildings. Do we have any discussion?
If there's any work that needs to be done like ASAP right now, if we just take the money out, Mayor, you have the right to get it done, and then if we need to get it back, if we need to pay you back or get the buildings and ground, fund back, we'll just do whatever we need to do.
Yeah, we got the new, we got a new budget and we got money. I just, we just, if I need some later on, if you can pay me back.
Yeah, that's fine, Mayor. If you can just kind of keep track of what you got going out, so that way we've kind of got an idea of what we'll have to ask for. If it gets too stringent and you get tight, I'm sure I don't think anybody on this committee would object, because you're trying to do that to clean up.
Okay, got it.
But okay, we've got a motion and a second. Do we have Commissioner Holden? Could you do us a roll call on that?
I think we have Gwen back. Yay.
Oh my gosh. Miss Gwen, do you mind to do us a roll call, ma'am?
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Yes.
Sonja Color. Aye. And Robin McCamey.
Aye.
All right, I believe motion passed. All right, we'll move down to the next item, which is the striping. Well, we'll back up. Striping at the workforce development. That email should have got sent around to everybody. That is the proposal that Mr. Cobalt had sent in to me. That's for $3,489, and that is striping back the parking lot that we had paved at the workforce development complex. And I'll entertain that a motion if anybody would like to put it in a formal one.
Point of clarification, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
This definitely isn't the outfit that did Lover's Lane and.
It is not.
Okay. I will make that motion then, sir.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second for $33,489 for paving or striping at the workforce development.
Question.
Discussion, yes, ma'am.
Is anybody going to look at that and coordinate with our current tenants?
Yes.
There is a better way to arrange those spots and get maybe more spots or so on?
Well, they're in the quote. It says the total number of parking spaces in a lot determines the total number of accessible spaces. So it's 150 to 200 spaces, requires 6 total accessible spaces. So they're going to try to lay it out as best as possible, but they'll have to comply with the ADA standards to make sure we have enough van accessibility. So I think they're going to try to get us as many spots as what they could out of it, I guess, is more of the story, but they're going to have to make sure we have enough for handicap.
That's great. When I worked there, it seems to me like though that the outer corner closest to the pond was not striped at all. So they weren't really.
I don't believe it was. I think the parking lot was in such bad shape. What was there had done either fell in or rotted off. So, but anyhow, I think they're going to try to get us some more spaces out of that.
For the record, will you restate the price?
$3,489.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mayor.
we're gonna have to do something about that brand new pavement is awful. Those ducks, geese, whatever they're, it's the awfulest mess up there ever was. We're gonna have to wash it some way before we ever stripe it. If we're going to pressure wash it, whatever, but it's awful. You can't take a step. You know, it's awful.
If it tell me that's good for COVID-19 cure, the white part, will you use that?
Yeah.
That is normal. That is normal for that parking lot and the workforce development on the other side as well.
Yeah. When I was up there the other day, I spoke with Mr. Kirby, and I think he told me he wasn't having too much issues down at the pond right now. They're up next to the where the Carter County Tomorrow used to reside at the moment. So hopefully they'll hold off long enough for them to get the parking lot striped. But he told me they had been pressure washing it every few days.
We could get a couple of otters, we would solve that problem.
Any more discussion? All right, seeing none, Glenn, if you don't care to call the roll.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Aye.
Sonja Color,
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
All right, I believe motion passed. Next on the agenda, we'll move to item D. It's CenturyLink, and that should be in your email. That's a contract that Attorney Harden, I'll let him touch on, where we had been in discussions with them, and I think the full commission approved it, approved the amount. So he has sent around the contract there for us to review the resolution.
Yeah, so essentially the resolution is just something that's required because it's more than a 5-year lease, and we had to do a separate ad publication about this going to be considered at the commission meeting this month. But it's the terms that were talked about at the last commission meeting. It's a 25-year lease, $500 a year, and then they're going to pay a lump sum of $1,500 for the back 3 years. They've had it for free, essentially. It's a very small tract of land there. The only caveat they added that wasn't what I presented before is they put essentially a 1-year out in there for themselves. If they wanted to terminate it based on the loss of their customer base or something, they could give us a year's notice, and then they terminate it. Of course, that really doesn't affect us much. If they decide they don't want to lease anymore, we can't make them keep it, and there's not a competition for that little piece of ground. So I thought that was a reasonable ad, although they certainly didn't anticipate wanting to cancel it.
All right, I'll put a motion to. I'm going to motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Now we're in discussion. Any discussion? Seeing none, Gwen, if you don't mind to call roll.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Aye.
Sonja Color,
Aye.
and Robin McCamey.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. If committee would, since we're on some of this, I'd like to drop down under CenturyLink and look at one other thing here. Since we're going out for an RFP for landscaping, I wouldn't care. I'd like to maybe get the mayor's intake on this too. We haven't really had any discussion with him about it, but I just thought about with everything going on. What would the committee feel if we put out an RFP seeking for cleaning services to kind of help them? We kind of had some real bad issues when the mayor's janitorial staff was down. I know he was pretty backed up, and it was hard for him to keep up with everything that was going on. We could put it out on RFP and just see how much it would run us to try to get some more assistance, and then we're not locked into actually hiring anybody year after year. It would be a service that we would just decide to continue or kick out, essentially.
Chairman James, can you be more specific? Because I thought CenturyLink was telecommunications.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Commissioner Holden. I'm on a whole different topic. I'm coming back to the landscaping. Since we was putting out an RFP for that, seeking for a landscaping service, I was wondering if the committee could entertain putting RFP service out, RFP for services for help cleaning the courthouse facilities and some of the other the county buildings to try to take some stress off the mayor's office. Mayor, are you there?
I'm here.
If you don't care to kind of chime in on that, I know you had some struggles with everything going on during this COVID virus, and then with your janitorial staff where they was out so long, not anything due to their.
My suggestion would be just to have where we could call them at, not have them all the time, just in emergency situations. But as far as them coming every week, I wouldn't think so. But just like say if somebody was sick, just have some, some help then. I mean, part-time or whatever you guys want to do on that. But just when somebody's out all the time, we really struggle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't struggle because when they're out, I clean the bathrooms. Don't like to, but I did.
Well, I understand, but let's try not to get you doing that.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I mean, I was just thinking that we could put it out as an RFP, get a bid back on it, and see what they come back. Maybe they come in once a month and help do a good deep clean, or ever so often help buff the floors or something of that nature to try to take some of that stress off, and get some of these things helped. What? Any input from the committee? Commissioner Woodby, yes.
I just like to make the committee aware we are seeing more positive case with county employees, not just people being in contact. We are seeing positive cases. We do need the extra cleaning. As you know, cleaning supplies, and I know Abby keeps them ordered and keeps us supplies, but it's hard to find the Clorox wipes, anything for us to use in our offices. And with employees testing positive, it's becoming a major struggle. I think we need the extra cleaning right now. And that's just my input as a county employee also.
Commissioner Grindstaff, we have you on here, and I know you're another fellow county employee. What's your, and on the budget committee, what's your intake on this?
I think that one of the best things that we could do, unfortunately, I think that there's going to be some trouble getting somebody, getting a company and fitting into their schedules. Kind of, I don't want to say this late in the game, but in the middle of all this going on, I'm for it. I think that it would be a good idea to, I think we've had a couple of different companies come through, do some additional bio cleaning or some things of that nature. I think that that's good. However, I would like to see for the offices that would allow it, an additional deep clean that the county could pay for during all this going on. We have a lot of county buildings, a lot of county offices, a lot of space that has to be they're trying to be covered during the day. Each individual office, as Commissioner Woodby stated, Clorox wipes, Clorox spray, anything that you can get your hands on to clean your common areas and your public areas. And now we're seeing that bridge over into even more so into the personal areas where the employees are. And so, I think that would be a great idea, at least to get a cost. I just worry that maybe we might not be able to get a company as quickly as probably what we want.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I understand, and I know some of this is a little late in the game. Of course, all this kind of come on us at once, and we thought we was kind of a little more over the hurdle and picked up at the tail end. But the only thing we can do is get started with it and try to see where we come in at. But I mean, if the committee would like, I'd entertain a motion for an RFP to seek cleaning services for the county buildings.
I'll make a motion that we put out an RFP for 6 months, renewable. But I hate to commit ourselves to a lot of money because I'm very hopeful that this ends soon.
I'll second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Commissioner James.
Yes, Commissioner Woodby.
Just in the past 2 days, the general sessions court system have seen over 200 individuals come through that courtroom. The facilities, the restrooms are being used, and I'm not sure how they're being cleaned. We are requiring masks for any individuals coming to the courtroom, but the capacity of people that are still moving through the county buildings is still at full capacity. We are lining them out in the parking lot. We had over 50 individuals lined through the parking lot this morning. We have THP compliance. We have troopers. We have an abundance of court officials coming through our building alone. We're just not able to sanitize and clean like we should, and that's a major concern of mine for our building and our staff, because I can speak to what I've seen today. The people that are coming from everywhere to court. And it's not stopping. So, and with what Commissioner Holdren said, maybe for just a 6-month span of time until we can see us top out on this virus. But if not, you know, you can't go wrong with cleaning. I don't see anything negative about cleaning. But that's just like wanted God to give you a perspective of what we're seeing just over on our building with the court system. It's not slowing down. The dockets are heavy from the resets from where we closed down March and April. All of that fell in now into August, September, and October. And it's just heavy. It's very heavy over there. It is a concern. So that was just to kind of give everybody an idea on what my staff over there is dealing with, what the sheriff's department's dealing with, the bailiffs. We've got elderly bailiffs who are in the courtrooms every single day, just directing people. We've got I mean, it's a major concern what we're dealing with. Just the past 2 days has been a little scary for myself. So that's just an idea of what we're dealing with. Thank you.
Commissioner Holdren, I have just a question about your motion there. Would you be open to changing that for a year? I worry most of your contracts are a year long, and I don't know that we'll get any response back if we only tell them that they're going to get 6 months. I know we're telling them it's possible renewal, but most of them wants to be a year at the minimum. Just knowing what I've seen, dealt with several contracts over the time, but.
I certainly know you're more experienced in that than I am, so I'll take your advice. I'm just a little concerned because we've spent a lot of money tonight.
Well, we're not spending no money yet. We're just going to put it out and see if we even get any bites on it. You know, we may not even get anybody interested in it, but.
I accept that amendment, sir.
Well, I can't make the amendment. I'm
Okay.
the chair, so if you'd like to amend your motion.
Okay, if I may amend my motion, I'll change it to put out an RFP for additional cleaning services for 1 year.
And is that going to be renewable with the option to renew if we decide to do so? Okay. Yes. Commissioner McCamey, are you still good with that?
I'll second. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion before we move forward?
My question is, how long will this RFP take? If this is something we need to be doing now, this could put us off some time.
Well, I think we usually publish RFP for 2 weeks, so we should be able to have something back before the committee next month at the minimum, at the latest. And if it gets any worse, I'm fine with if we get the chairwoman on board with if we have to call a special call meeting to push it on through, or if the committee's fine with it, then we can take it to budget and get final approval to full floor from them. If it gets to that point, but I'm hoping that we hopefully won't escalate much worse than what we are. But I don't know any other way to do it.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Chair, our Commissioner Grindstaff.
Concurrently, I would recommend maybe either yourself, the mayor, reach out to some of these cleaning companies. I know that the health department uses a company. We approved, I think, some additional funds for them a while back. But to reach out to some of these companies, go ahead and get maybe just an idea of price. You know, depending on the price, you may not even have to put that out for RFP. You may be able to do a bid. It just depends on, you know, what is it, $25,000. Just depends on, you know, what we're talking about. And at least you might have some number figures, you know, just an idea.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and vote on the RFP, and I'll reach out in the meantime if the committee's fine with it, and me and the mayor, and try to get some quotes back. And if it's under the acceptable amount for the bids, if we can get 3, then we may try to go ahead and try to either bring it to budget or to the full floor and see what kind of approval we can, if there's anything we can do on it this month to try to hurry up and get some of this going, because I know the courts and the sheriff's department especially is having a large volume of people passing through there every day apparently. So, and we don't want to get our judicial system down. So, but Gwen, if you don't mind to call the roll.
Randall Jenkins.
Yes.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Robert Acuff.
Aye.
Brad Johnson.
Aye.
Austin James.
Aye.
Ginger Holdren.
Aye.
Sonja Color.
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Let's move on down to old business. All right, EOC construction update. They have finished the EOC. If y'all get a chance and they'll let you in, stop. I implore you to take a look. Well, they're still finishing some of the fencing around it, but the inside of the facility itself is completed. And it looks great. They've done a terrific job. The desk in it, everything looks good. I believe Mr. Smith and his assistant there has been working on trying to get the computer systems and stuff installed. And the mayor may be able to speak a little more on this because he's probably a little more fluid with it.
They're coming this next week with the internet. They first told them the 28th of August, and that was when they're supposed to come and check it out. But I got on the horn and talked to some different people, and they're coming next week. So I don't know if I did anything, or I didn't threaten them or nothing. I just told them we had to have it. It's emergency operations, and they went from August 28th till next week. So they're going to come and start working next week. So have the internet set up and stuff.
Good deal. Anybody have any questions on that? All right, not seeing any. Let's move on to the courthouse security. As you know, we had a little bit of disagreements on that last month, and a few things were exchanged. But I'd like to notify the committee. Me and the county attorney and the mayor has met with the architect and the court and the and contractors, and we all have come to an amicable solution and seem to be moving forward on the project, which will save the county its money. But they have a notice to proceed. I'll have to go here and look.
August 10th.
August the 10th, their notice to proceed. So they have received that, and they are gearing up to make progress and move that way. Any questions?
I'd just like to say that I thank the committee for their stand on that, and Attorney Harden for your work on that. Thank you.
Yes, Attorney Harden, he done a good job. So let's not give him too big of a head all at once.
Can't get no bigger. A little bit to say, the project is moving forward. The notice to proceed is issued effective August 10th, and the only change order that was approved was at our request for a door, a quality of one of the doors or something. So the concessions were made, and then the project's moving forward.
All right, next up, Mr. Mayor, Sluter property.
I know you don't like to hear about it, but I brag about it. Got the septic tank in, fill lines in, the water lines in. We're now looking for about one more day, and we'll have electricity. They've been up on electrical. We'll have electricity and water here, hopefully, in the building within the next 2 weeks. We just got to hook up water lines, septic lines, everything's in the ground. So we're moving forward. That's good.
All right, good deal. AEA transition plans, Mr. Smith, everything's going on with the COVID. I believe he's still on hold with that. Mayor, if you don't care to reach out to him and make sure he's communicating with Commissioner Holdren, and we're trying to get a game plan so we can start moving forward with this process.
Okay, I will.
All right. Next, county archive facility. I believe that's on hold till we get to the discussion for the RFP on the Great Lakes. Building and ground supervisor. So I'd asked everybody to try to come back this month and give me ideas of what you all would like to see, requirements, you know, what this job would entail, what you all want. Has anybody had any time to kind of dig into that?
I really don't think we have to dig. I've got the guy that can do it. I mean, he's already working for us. So, I mean, that's my opinion. Very seasoned and experienced.
Okay. Well, and I don't think that he would be a terrible one for the position, Mayor. I think we'll just need to we're going to do the position, we need to create the position, set the salary, and interview him just like we would if it'd be anybody else, and do our due diligence about it, because we have had great times of putting ourselves in a position and then trying to have to backpedal to fix it. So just if we're going to do it, I think we need to make sure we do it correctly this time. But if nobody's had any time to build the rapport on this, please ask that be next month's thing, and I'll send you all around what I have and let you all start trying to look into that and build on it, give ideas and pointers and what the requirements would be. I have spoke to Mr. Kirby, or it may have been the mayor, and I don't think Mr. Kirby currently right now with what they're trying to maintain has a very vastly full plate. So I believe that he would be able to take on some extra responsibilities.
Right.
This might be a solution for him. But like I said, we need to still build the job and then go from there. So we will defer that. If everybody's good to next month, I'll send you around what I've got, and let y'all try to build on that. And I know it's difficult right now with all this COVID and trying to do everything over Zoom. It's a pain. It's a lot easier to be able to pass the paper around, but we'll put that on for next month. Northeast State contract, we done discussed that in health and welfare, so we don't need to discuss that no more. The courthouse buller, if you all will look, I forwarded you around the paper from BLS, had gave us their report on that. They're pretty well advising us that our buller is in good standing. It is in good shape for its age. Currently it's 14 years old. The boiler lasts 25 years, so we should have many more years of life left to it. They do have some recommendations of things that we will do to help improve its efficiency. One was the backflow preventer is apparently leaking severely, and that should be replaced, which they approximate could run somewhere around $2,000. The insulation on the steam pipe, most of it's damaged or missing, which is we're losing a lot of heat from, they're telling us. So that needs to be removed and re-insulated, and they're estimating that could run anywhere between $4,500 to $5,000 to do that. And then a little earlier, they're recommending that we do a full water treatment, additives, and the estimated range on the order they say will be $6,500 to $7,500, and the monthly service once we get that done will run us about $200 a month. Yeah. But they say they feel that we've got many, many more years left out of that boiler, and if we decide to replace it with a higher efficiency, our estimated cost will be somewhere between $6,500 and $90,000. And the problem with it is that the newer efficiency boiler is bigger than ours, and it would not fit in the current boiler room due to the low ceiling height. So we would have to try to find somewhere else to locate that in the building, which we all know how it's going with space right now. So,
Chairman James, do we need a motion tonight to begin doing some of those tasks that they recommended?
We can, if that would be the pleasure of the committee. I believe the mayor can reach out to Norwell. I believe we're under contract with, isn't it, Mayor?
Yes.
So I believe he could reach out to him for them on this letter. I believe in the letter they had spoke with Norwell. So they ought to be pretty back and forth with each other on this. And so they could probably let Norwell know what they're doing, and Norwell could give us a estimate on that. And it's under the bid amount, of course. So that's something that what they're suggesting will be under the bid amount. So we could decide to move forward with that with them if we want to.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Is that a backflow preventer on a closed system?
Isaiah, I don't know. He didn't specify. I didn't pay attention.
Okay. One thing that I know that we've done over the several years, we've always contracted out with Norwell to go through and check all the backflow preventers at the basically the three facilities there. It'd be the mayor's office, the detention center, and the sheriff's office building. that may be something that we need to go back, look for the last year's inspection of those backflows, see if that's included, see if that is an item that has been notated before, or see if that is something, because if it's something that's leaking that badly as what I'm picturing, for them to state that, that looks like that would be something that would constantly show up. It's not something that would just go bad over a year's time. So I'm just kind of curious to see if that's something that has been checked before, and if maybe we need to get back with Norwell on a continuing issue on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that I'm sure the mayor, he should have the paperwork on that, but Commissioner Johnson could probably touch a little more on that, because he should be very versed with them boilers also, and the backflow preventers. Something of that nature, I think, can go bad pretty rapidly, and start leaking quite a bit. You care to touch on that, Commissioner Johnson?
Well, the biggest thing is on the boiler system is the return, which starts the corrosion more than anything. And to go in and purge and clear and add new water and chemicals to it is the biggest preventer of a faulty boiler in itself. With the amount of times that the boiler has been down and it has been worked on, repaired, of course, your insulation around your pipes near your boiler thing is going to be, some of it's going to be frayed, some of it's going to be automatically knocked off and not replaced. And then over the years, it just looked like where a satchel charge went off in there. And I'm surprised that there was no more finding than that, based on the amount of time that we went down. And Mayor, you can address that, of how many times we've had no heat.
Right.
That means we've got a problem in there. I thought BSS would surely come back and find something like that, instead of just a cosmetic thing.
Well, they're saying that, and then they're saying we've got a severely leaking backflow preventer.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
regardless of what it is, we need to make sure we definitely address the backflow preventer, because we don't need no water pouring through the courthouse.
Well, the treatment contract is one of the most important parts out of all that, because that will determine how many problems you're going to have down in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mayor, do we currently have a treatment contract with Norwell? Is that what they're doing for us?
No, they're just here working on it every week or so. Not during the summer, but when it gets cold weather, I'm going to have to put them on the office here. That thing tears up every week.
Maybe we need to reach out to another company provider, and see if they can't do something a little better for us than what we're having done.
We need something, because I don't know what causes it, but sometimes we got our guys from workforce could come down. Sometimes they have to come down and put water in, somehow it has to put water in it or something to get it to working again. It's just something when it gets cold weather, something all the time. I mean, it's just that's the reason I thought we need a new one. But I mean, if they don't want to put a new one, we need to rebuild that one or something, because it's something cold weather, it kills us.
I'll get with you tomorrow and give you some names of different contractors and let you call them and see if they can't come out and look at it also, and then address these problems that we've got and try to go ahead and get them fixed.
As to the treatment of the water and the chemicals in there, I don't know if this was done before or after the company came and looked at the boiler, but Roy and Ron from the Workforce Development were able to come in and put an apparatus and valve onto the boiler that allows them to add the treatment, and we are purchasing the treatment for them, and they're adding it as needed, because you have to do a check on the levels of the chemicals that are in there, and that's something that Ron and Roy do on the boiler at the Workforce Development Complex. So they're starting to do that for us now at the courthouse. So the treatment has already been taken care of.
Okay, but now one of the things he's talking about we need to do is we need to purge the system and redo it essentially, and get it set back up on treatment, which is probably some of the problem where we've not had a regular maintained treatment in it, where we've not. He's talking about being on contract with somebody, but if we got Ron and them that's putting the treatment and maintaining it, that's fine. We just probably need to get it purged one good time also, to restart it, since it may have went lapse or a period of time without the treatment in it. But I'll get with you tomorrow on that, Rusty, and we'll see if we can't get some companies to call and let you try to get us some bids and stuff, and bring that back through. Hopefully maybe that'll get us tidied up, since they're saying we should have, you know, an average boiler lasts 25 years, and that one's 14 years old. So we should have roughly, they're saying at least another 9 to 10 years left out of that one before we have to replace it. So instead of having to spend $70,000 or $80,000 earlier than we have to, maybe we can get by another few more years with that one. Next is on here. I see I didn't put it on here. It's just kind of a general update. We've got the openings for the RFP for the Workforce Development Complex. And I guess when we wrote the RFP, we wasn't specific enough, and essentially we put out for response on the design services, and I'm waiting to receive the rest of everybody's back in a jump drive or in a form where I can send it through email to let y'all review it on the packets. Since we can't have it, look at it in paper. But we had a response back from Novus, Luce, LOSE, Shaw and Shanks, Kane Rash West, and BLS is the 5 that had pretty well submitted. They were interested in being able to take on our services for us. Kane Rash West, Shaw and Shanks, and BLS is the only local. I believe Novus was from either Knoxville or Asheville, and Luce was either from Knoxville or Asheville. It's either. What'd you say, Commissioner Johnson?
I would tell you the Shaws and Shanks is a premium firm located in Johnson City, and they're presently doing and have in the past done a lot of work for the school system of the Johnson City and the city government itself, which they have 2 or 3 contracts right now with them. But the others, of course, Shaws and Shanks has worked with me under contract in the federal government for years. And I've not found anybody other than Beeson Street and Lusk that's any better than that. I don't think you can get any better than that.
I will have to say, out of all the people that had submitted their designs, their packets, Shaws and Shanks was the only one that took the time out of their day to come to the bid opening to be there with us. Nobody else attended. So one of the representatives comes, and he did tell me that I'm pretty sure that they was the ones that done the design services for the TCAP facility beside of us. So they, you know, they're a pretty well reputable architect, but I'll get all that sent around, and then maybe next month we can decide, you know, who we'd like to reach out to and maybe get a preliminary from, and, you know, see kind of what we'd like to move forward with that. When I get the rest of the digital copies in. So I believe that is all. Oh, Commissioner comments.
I have some, please.
Yes, ma'am.
One is just curiosity. Did that MBI firm out of Knoxville not bid?
No, they did not.
Okay. Are you sending out your initial thoughts on the maintenance supervisor position, like maybe tomorrow or this week sometime?
Yes, I'm gonna send them out this week.
Okay. Are we currently under contract with Northeast State for a certain amount this year?
For how much they paying for their lease?
Yes.
Yeah, we're under contract with them until 2021. They have to pay that agreed upon amount.
Okay. I didn't know if that was something we need to be changing or doing right now or what.
No, I believe that's what the mayor's working on. That come up during the middle when Dr. Not Flora now, but Bullock had touched on their 3 options that they're going to try to bring and present to us.
They've paid. They're paid up through July 21 right now. They went ahead and paid the whole year right as we speak now. It's paid up for July 21.
So you ought to keep in mind also with the other events going in like the RFP, your AE firms and all, is the time right now that we need to coordinate too, because you've got TCAP and you got the college that could use and bring new programs in. And now we select an AE, and they can sit down together and start mapping out the use of our building to see what the benefit's going to be. Because their contract comes up on 21, it'll be the preliminary ought to be done easily before then.
Yeah,
So
and
we'll
Mayor,
know,
I was just, go ahead, Mr. Commissioner Johnson. I thought you'd finished.
no, but all those things can be coordinated, and right now is the best time for us. So where we can get the preliminary done, and we'll know up front, you know, whether TCAP can afford it, whether the best space, the best utilized would be with Northeast State, or it could be in combination of all three, TCAP, Northeast State, and even our own county educational facility for vocational training. And so if we have our common architect there, start getting their dreams together, we can start putting preliminary prices together, and we can see how we can lower our lease requirements. And then it may also help get us some funds to where we can go in and start eliminate some of the ADA deficiencies to where we can put the schools in there.
I'd like to also say that I believe it's this past week, I met with Mr. Kirby and our current Dr. McAbee at the Great Lakes facility to show him what we had there to see if there was anything that would be remotely possible for the school to use and utilize, because I know us as commissioners, there's nothing no better than to be able to use county property and county assets to educate our county students and to try to set them better in their path and future and go out and forth and do. And he was very excited in parts of the workforce or parts of the Northeast State facility, being able to maybe utilize that, maybe even being able to take the current spaces that's not utilizing so he wouldn't infringe on any of the Northeast State space, and utilizing that. I even heard the word Central Vocational School maybe thrown around. And maybe even being able to add some programs to what we already currently offer. He feels that we have a strong problem with our vocational because we're trying to bus our students to so many campuses around the school, around the districts, that it's hard to get kids to enroll in them. Because if you got one that's wanting to take a program at Cloudland and they're at Hampton, they're having to be bused to Cloudland, and then they want to take another program at Unaka, they're having to be bused from Unaka or from Cloudland to Unaka, and he's very concerned with that instructional time that they're losing in that gap of having to bus that student in multiple places. So, you know, that may be something as we look forward to this. You know, what better way to be able to use a county facility than to be able to educate our children and try to give them something that they can go on and get a career with. So, you know, we need to work real diligently with them in the midst of while we're doing some of these design services, I think, and see if we can kind of co-op together there and get something, you know, where it's at. I mean, I don't know, you know, we're in a different time in the world today, and I know that a lot of people for years and years and years, even when I was in high school, it was a push for college. But I'm telling you guys, there is no more vocational workers out there. And the ones that's out there that's working is dying off, and they're retiring, they're done. And so, you know, and we're not teaching it no more, and you don't have it. Just for instance, at Unaka, we've got the meat cutting program, and they're talking about cutting that because they don't have enough enrollment numbers, because we're not getting students to move around. You know, we're only, I think, either one or two in the entire state that has a meat cutting program. Well, I mean, regardless, Ingalls and Food City and all these other grocery stores have to have butchers. And, you know, this is something that you're giving this child a career when they come out, instead of telling them that, you know, well, you got to go to college and get $70,000, $80,000 in debt. And that's a possibility you only get a $12, $13 an hour job when you get that now, because we have so many people that has an associate's and a master's and a bachelor's and a doctoral anymore. You know, now by no means am I throwing off on education. It's terrific, but you know, college is just not for every student. So,
you through? Are you through?
I am, Mayor.
Okay, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I can't follow you, man. I can't talk like that. But anyway, I got a couple things. Probation here beside the planning their lease comes up in a couple months, and they're wanting to renew it. I don't think they pay about $800 a month or something like that. It's I thought, do we want to keep them, or we want to go up?
Attorney Harden, if you don't care to pop in on this, I believe me and you had spoke about that once before. Is their lease not on automatic renewal if we don't do anything with it? Is that what you told me, that we have to give them a certain time gap to notify them that we're no longer going to renew that, or what?
It may be, I'd have to look at it again, but most of them are pretty much, we got to give them a notice period if we're not going to let them renew most of those state leases. And I can't remember exactly what the amount is. I know they had been upset with the tree maintenance at one time. I don't know if they got satisfied on that or not. They were talking about not renewing over that. But anyway, I'll look at it and let you know.
Oh, they whine all the time. They whine about something all the time.
Well, committee, I guess what I'm getting at, Mayor, is if the committee decides they're going to do anything, we'll probably need to try to do it this month, or we won't meet our window gap time frame.
Right. So, Mayor, Attorney Harden checked on that, because, like I say, it's $800 a month or something. But anyway, and another note, the Department of Forestry called me wanting to rent one room up at the workforce. They need like a 10 by 10 room, one room. And they said it could pay around $500 a month. I mean, I thought for a 10 by 10, that's not too bad, is it? That's $5 a square foot.
No, that's not bad. Do you have an idea of where to place them?
Well, just in a corner somewhere, just out of the way. I mean, $500 we can hide them, you know. But
would they be open to using one of the offices behind what is that? The what's that? Who do we have in the first building over there on the end? The job career placement.
See, upstairs is, you talking about in the first building?
I'm talking about the first floor right there when you come in, right beside the Northeast State parking lot that the kids use, the big parking lot.
Oh, that's the Alliance Business and Training's they've got something downstairs, and then they got the upstairs.
Yeah.
The other end where Carter County Tomorrow was, there's all kinds of rooms right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's premium stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe they could use some of that office space behind the Alliance Business Training, because it's kind of sitting there vacant too.
For sure. I mean, for $500, we'll find them 10. They said they could get by a 10 by 10, you know.
Well, I think there's an office there if they're going to pay that much. I mean, I don't care for them to get a little bigger of a space, but I think there's a double office down there behind that Alliance Business Training. It maybe used to be a conference room or something that maybe would work good for them.
Okay. I think there's just going to be like one person in there, but I don't know exactly what they're going to do. But there'll be some traffic coming in and out, but not much. They said just one person, and I squeezed them pretty hard. Now we don't want to be too easy.
Well, I mean, Josh Harden's got an empty office up there. Surely he'd like to have some help up there.
Yeah.
I mean, for $500 for that 10 by 10 room, I mean, come on, big boy, jump on it.
More rent space is available.
Oh, we done got it full, huh?
No, I'll rent it to you for the right price.
Chairman James,
Yes, Commissioner Holder.
I feel like we've got to be smart about what we lease to whom when. If it is just one person, let's don't offer them a double space. Let's keep double spaces for somebody that needs a double space. If they're willing to take a second floor instead of a first floor, maybe they only pay $400. You know, I think we got to be smart about this.
Well, currently the first building, the entire second floor, I believe, is maintained. So the only thing we have available is the first floor. And until we get some things addressed, or I think would be another school entity or something of that nature, it kind of might be hard to put them in the other building with Northeast State and security concerns of having somebody in there they're not completely aware of.
So in the first building, the entire second floor is taken?
Yes, Carter County Schools maintains the right side and the Alliance Business Training has the left.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think they're working on trying to downscale their lease, so there'll probably be some space open in the second floor on the Alliance side. But as of right now, I don't think it is. And then in the downstairs in the middle, Commissioner Woodby, you're still here? Yeah. You can, she'll let you know. I'm not exactly for sure, but her offices is using several offices to maintain file records in that we have no room to put them. So.
While we were talking here, I was looking at the TDOC lease, the probation parole lease, and I don't see any automatic renewal. It was a 2-year term. It is $806 a month, and there's not an auto. There's just a 90-day termination clause if we were going to terminate it during the term. So I don't see an auto renewal. So it'd be up to you all if you want to renew it and ask for an increase in rent.
Okay.
If they're unhappy, do we really want to ask for an increase?
I mean, I personally feel that $800 for that old ratty building is pretty good myself, but.
And if
What's
we
your
tell
intake?
them that we're looking into the landscape situation, maybe that would entice them to give us a chance and make sure they stay with us.
I think we fixed the landscape issue, if I understood Commissioner Holder. They had some trees that was back there, and I believe they've already got that rectified.
Oh yeah, we took care of that. Now they're worried about the potholes in the gravels.
Oh.
In the gravel parking lot behind, there's some potholes, they said. So they send us letters about once a week, you know, but
Those girls need to go to work on probation and quit worrying about the small crap.
Does the committee wish to ask for an increase, or do they wish to just continue with what we got?
I would like to make a motion that we offer them a renewal at the same rate.
I second that motion.
All right, we've got a motion and a second to offer them the renewal at the same rate. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Gwen, if you don't care to call roll.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff, Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren, Sonja Culler,
Aye.
and Robin McCamey.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next thing up, let's go back to the forestry at the workforce. What do y'all wish to do with that? Do you wish to let the mayor find them about a 10 by 10 space for that kind of rent, or what do y'all want to do?
I would like to offer them a space, but I don't want it to be, as Mr. Johnson referred to, the premium spaces. I don't want it to be that.
I think, in my opinion, what would be usable that we have would have to be that offices behind the Alliance business. What they've got there. Otherwise, you're at the other end where the Carter County Tomorrow is at, because the space, the air gap in between is a lot of the offices is being maintained by circuit clerk's office for their file storage.
What about that room that we met in for a couple of months?
The conference room.
Yes.
That's part of the Carter County Tomorrow space. That's on that end.
But there is no Carter County Tomorrow.
There's not, no, that's just when Commissioner Johnson was talking about the premium space. That's kind of what I would consider the premium space, because nobody's occupying that in. If you want to release the whole side, that would be your side that you would do it in. So, and then the schools are, since nobody's using it, has been using it for storage of things, of masks and stuff when they come in the door to try to pass out to some of the teachers and things right now. And then when we was up there the other day, we met with Miss Miller, and I told her that I'm sure that the committee wouldn't mind as long as nobody was using it. We didn't lease it in the meantime. They were trying to do some nursing classes up there, and they were worrying about having the social distances in place. So if they needed to use the conference room to try to do some of that educational, then I didn't think that there would be an issue with that. In the event that we leased it or something, that would be a different subject. But while it was sitting vacant, if our schools can use it to educate, by means, let them educate.
Okay, then I would like to make a motion that we allow the attorney and the mayor and Chairman James to move forward with selection of space and contract with the Forestry Service. For
I'll
$500
second.
a month.
Did you say for $500 a month? Is that what you had at
Yes.
the end, Ginger?
Yes.
Okay. And McCamey second. All right, we got a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Gwen, if you don't care to call the roll.
Randall Jenkins,
Yes.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Robert Acuff,
Aye.
Brad Johnson,
Aye.
Austin James,
Aye.
Ginger Holdren,
Aye.
Sandra Culler,
Aye.
Robin McCamey.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Any more commissioner comments or anything else from the mayor?
Austin, just one thing relating to the previous item we just talked about. The center core, the center entrance to the workforce development. You say the second floor of that building is pretty well occupied with exception, well, yeah, it's occupied. What about on the first floor there near the center core, which used to be used as a security office? A security officer's office right there to the left as you went through the door. Is it vacant?
I'm not sure, Commissioner Johnson. The center core where I think you're speaking about, you have to access it from the back of the building, correct? Is that where it's got where the steps come up? If I'm thinking correctly, the center core right there, see the center core and one or two offices into the office space behind the Alliance business is all being occupied by the circuit clerk's office for file storage.
Okay, the files can be moved to another office if we have to be. I mean, if it's more convenient for a tenant.
Well, that's something we can look at.
Okay, no problem.
Of course, I'm not sure how thrilled Patty will be about that, but
yeah. Well, boo hoo hoo.
Mayor, I think he's getting ready to say something else.
You guys, you lost me, both of you. You two lost me. You two rattle me. I can't think of nothing. Whatever you guys want, but we'll have to go before full commission for this, right?
For the leasing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get final approval on the contract and everything.
Whatever we do, I'll make the call to that lady, and they want to come up and look at it, but I'll make the call after everything's approved then.
Well, what the motion was is me and you and Attorney Harden, me and you'll select a space for them. We'll get Attorney Harden to draft contract, make sure they're happy with it. Well, that's where they want to be, and then we'll take it to the commission for final approval if they're good with that. So I'll get with you tomorrow, and we'll try to pick a space out for them and start working on all the things, and you can check in with them, make sure they're happy with that space, and then we'll take it to the full commission.
So I get to see you tomorrow?
That's right. Nothing like seeing my beautiful face.
Whew, boy, I'll sleep good tonight.
That's right. Any other comments?
I just want to say thank you to the mayor for getting that for us.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Mayor.
Hey, it's all about, we want to make a little money, don't we? But the big thing is Northeast State. We got to really work with them. I'm worried about that. So.
Well, tell them we fixed their potholes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I got a motion, and I'm going to assume a second. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed likewise? Seeing none, we're adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Don't forget, on the 18th at 6 p.m., health and welfare.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Shalom.